Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ask a Scientist Gaming, where we combine mediocre gameplay with expert science. I'm Ken Hansen, associate professor, now full professor in the Department of Chemistry, actually the Cottrell family professor in the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry at Florida State University. I'm a photochemist slash photophysicist. I shine light on molecules and materials, and I track that light energy with things like time-resolved emission and transient absorption, and ultimately try to figure out how the molecular structure dictates where that energy goes and if we can do useful things with it. But more importantly, joining me today is Dr. Lisa Schelbe. Lisa, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. I'm Lisa Schelbe, and I'm the Jean M. Janes Professor in Child Welfare at Florida State University College of Social Work, and I am also the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs. My research broadly looks at child well-being, more narrowly focused looks at child welfare, more narrowly focused looks at young people in foster care, more narrowly focused looks at young people who are aging out of foster care, and specifically, I'm really excited about looking at outcomes of early parenting and post-secondary education.
Nice. And what do you typically teach?
So I love teaching across the curriculum. As in my administrative role right now, I'm only teaching at the doc level as a methodologist. I teach qualitative research, but the classes I love to teach are human behavior in the social environment. And I teach that as it's a theories class and then a life course perspective or development class. So it's basically cradle to grave. And then I also teach a class called child maltreatment and child welfare, which is all the issues that are associated with young children and through adolescence being hurt by their parents and how the child welfare system seeks to serve them.
Awesome. Equally important, what are we starting with? Which game?
We are going to be starting with Miss Pac-Man.
Classic. All right. Yeah. You ready for this?
I'm as ready as I'm going to get. Yeah.
All right. There we go.
And my goal is to be mediocre.
that is
like,
our tagline.
I'm okay if I, like... Yeah, I think that's really a high goal for me.
As long as you're having fun, the audience has fun.
Yeah.
There we go. Off to a good start.
So far, so good. Beginner's luck, maybe. I played this a lot in my parents' friends' pizza places.
I was going to say, when was the last time you played this?
Before last week when I was prepping to come on the show, probably when I was 7. But you know, I'm 49 now. Like, it's not as bad as like riding a bike, but I have forgotten a lot. Although I was never good.
Oh.
So.
I mean, thankfully these games are relatively straightforward. This one's like left, right, up, down. Get the pills.
Yep.
It's Miss Pac-Man because it has a bow.
Right.
Obviously.
I never understood like why that was a really big deal.
I don't know if it was. I mean,
But then I was a women's studies major as an undergraduate, so it feels like it's maybe a feminist thing about like I'm a Miss Pac-Man person. I don't know. Is that a thing?
I don't
know.
I'm sure somebody's written a thesis about it.
Probably. Look at me! I got the high score already.
I mean, what I appreciate about this game is she has all the skills and things that Pac-Man does. It's just Miss Pac-Man. Yeah. So it's not genderized per se.
That's right.
It's not like chess.
Right.
Where the roles are clearly delineated. I mean, do you feel like you remember this at all, or is this learning it anew for the first time?
It's not the first time, but I'm feeling like, you know, I've probably played about an hour in the last week. I probably feel like it was like 5 minutes of playtime. So yeah, it feels pretty new.
That Sporty Stat says you're already doing better than the refresher.
That's true.
You perform under pressure.
It's totally true.
I like it.
Shame is a great motivator as an academic.
Don't worry.
I don't want to embarrass myself.
This will be on the internet forever until YouTube dies. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Generations upon generations.
Yeah.
Songs will be written.
That's.
But I like it. But it seems like you're not having any issues playing and talking, so that's a good start.
No, I can talk during anything. Like I talk in my sleep. Yeah, I'm chatting.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
That's elite.
Okay, but I know better than going after the ghosts. I gotta keep going. They'll slow me down. Okay. Well,
It was totally worth it.
It was.
All right. So starting out with questions, I start out with one that I like to do with every single guest,
Sure.
and it's because students often have a perception that we are, destined for the jobs that we're in, and we knew from day one we were doing
Oh
this.
my gosh.
Presumably, 6-year-old Lisa did not think she would be talking about social work and foster care while playing Pac-Man on a Twitch stream.
No.
Instead, there was a winding road, many forks in the road, many decisions along the way. In retrospect, were probably obvious, but now that you've lived that journey, what were those forks in the road? What were the major milestones where you narrowed your focus down to where you are today?
So I was, where am I? Oh, you
I got
started
you.
over.
Yep.
Okay, so I was an undergraduate and I was pre-med, and my life was, I knew I was going to work in a hospital, and I studied for the MCATs.
Wow.
And I was all ready to go. I actually took the MCATs. I did quite well.
Wow.
And the summer before my senior year, I worked in a hospital. And there are a few things that I hate more than hospitals, it turns out. Yeah. So when I say that I hated it, I hated everything about it. I hated the hours. I hated the smell. I hated everything except the nurses that I worked with, who were absolutely amazing. But I knew I didn't want to be a doctor. So I had an existential crisis in my senior year at college. And I decided that I was going to figure out what I was going to do and just take a job that seemed like fun to me. At the same time, I was trying to figure out like what fun would look like. And I mean, I was even thinking like I could work at like Burger King as a manager. And like, I was thinking like anything that I could do.
Yeah.
I started working at a domestic violence shelter, and we called it domestic violence. We actually called it battered women's shelters back in the 90s. But we would call it a women's shelter or a domestic violence shelter today. And I fell in love with this idea of really helping people. So I worked after graduation. I worked for an agency, and I worked with survivors of intimate partner violence, and I ran a crisis line. And I realized that while I loved helping people, I don't love people that much. And they're really hard to work with.
Yeah.
Meaning like the problems are so complicated.
People are hard.
Right. And so I decided that what I was really fascinated and interested in doing is doing program level work or meso level work. And I went back and got my master's in social work. And I was interested in doing some work that was going to improve systems and services with people.
Yeah.
So then
You don't have to interact with them, but you can help them.
so I'm helping them, but I'm like one step removed. And so then I went and I ended up getting a job, and I was working in North. So I moved from, I went to school, Washington University, and then I was got a job. My first job was outside of St. Louis, which is where Washington University is. And then after graduation, I went to Western North Carolina.
Just want to point out you beat the level.
Look at that.
Jeez. Congratulations.
Maybe the secret is I just keep talking and I stop
Yeah, no,
thinking.
that's it. Get in the
Maybe
zone.
it.
This is flow. Hit the
Yeah.
flow state.
Either that or it's... That wasn't me.
Oh.
I think
That's the amateur ghost mistake.
I think that the game is looking out for me. Yeah. Or else you're playing behind the scenes and I'm not aware of this.
That was all you.
So I went to Western North Carolina, and I was in practice working at an agency where I was, start over again. I was working at an agency, and I loved it, and I was doing this meso level work and working in the community. And then I started realizing how many things were wrong with the systems. And I decided that what I really needed to do is I needed to get my doctorate so that I could change policy and that I could help inform the next generation of practitioners. And so I decided to go back and get my doctorate, and I went to University of Pittsburgh with every intention that I was just going to focus on social work education. Kind of started falling in love with research, and more importantly, I realized how important it was in having an academic career. And so I ended up having a great mentor who gave me some opportunities to work with young people in foster care.
Wow.
And the rest is history. I just sort of fell in love with what I was doing. And I got a job at Florida State. I get to work with great people. I've worked on all sorts of different projects. And I feel like between my research and my teaching, I'm kind of making a difference.
That's awesome.
And Oops. And that's why Miss Pac-Man died. And that's how I got where I am.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Man, the wanting to be a doctor. Like, I have so many pre-meds in general chemistry. I teach a class of 250 students, and it's like they all want to go to med school, but it's what you said probably captures a lot of their experience, right? You have this artificial sense of being a doctor, and you're going to be, you know, a house, and you're going to solve these really elegant problems. But
you don't realize, if I'm just going to be really crass, you don't realize how bad the smells are of people who are sick and dying.
yeah,
And in a hospital, and like that was, I just didn't have the stomach, and like all of the suffering that was there, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And there's suffering in social work, but the physical health, it wasn't for me, and I have the utmost respect for those who can do medicine. And I do a lot about like promoting interdisciplinary, interprofessional work. But yeah, hospital settings and working with people that were sick were not my thing.
Yeah. And I think that's underappreciated. Like, most people in healthcare are customer service agents for medical health, and students don't quite grasp that. They have to experience it. I'm glad you got that experience before going in too deep.
Oh my gosh, it would have been horrible if I had gone into med school and the first set of rounds, I'd be like, oh, I'm out.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's not like classes.
No. I'm really excited that Florida State does seems to do more experiential learning.
Yep.
And so I feel like our students are actually understanding what the profession is going into. So that gives me a lot of hope.
I really hope so. And Acid Dancer has a comment. Sometimes you have to try something to know you don't like it. Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's why I encourage most students to try doing research as undergrads.
Yeah.
You know nothing about research till you've actually done it. And so you can get both ends of the spectrum.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
And what I also think that is in that is don't be afraid to try something, because there are also things that you try and you're like, there's no way I'm going to like this. And it turns out like, I do like green eggs and ham. Like, you know, there is something about like, it's not that bad.
Yeah. Or it at least tells you what you don't like or what aspects of it you like.
Right.
That's why, like, in our graduate program, students do lab rotations before they join a group. And so all the students that come in, they get to go through 3 labs, get to experience it. So they have a semester to decide where they want to go.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it does help weed out, you know, who wants to be there and who doesn't.
Nice.
All right. Lori said, Acid Dancer, indeed, so glad nowadays practical experiences are happening so much earlier in degree programs instead of back in my day internships being last summer of degree.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're to a degree before you realize you hate it.
Yeah. That's the sad part of like my job sometimes is that people come in and they're like, well, I'm in my last semester. I have this degree. I'm in student debt. I have to get a job and I'm not happy. And we don't see that in social work much.
I was going to say, people that go into social work, they know what they're getting into for the most part.
Well, because we have a practicum or an internship requirement, and so they really do get the experience. But I've had students that were like, you know, I get some students that come and find me because they were in education or some. I actually have had people in nursing who were like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it's also never too late to change.
Yeah. No, there was, I mean, there's been several studies on this, like sociology studies in terms of personality traits and empathy and what disciplines you should go into. And social work, like, by far the most, like, socially conscientious, aware, empathetic. There are personality traits that feed well into your discipline, as I understand it.
No, you're absolutely right.
And instead, chemistry, we just have a bunch of autistic people, so.
I loved organic chemistry, like, and I loved the labs. Like, if I could still be in the labs, like, those were some of the best days.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at me finishing a level.
I think that's the second level, isn't it?
It's the first. Okay. But if we count how many, like, boards I've played, I think this is. You're right.
Yeah, you beat a phase, because one level does not give you the animation.
And they're getting faster. That's okay.
Man. All right, Lorianne says, my niece just started the nursing program at Butler. Their first experiential learning is in the second semester at a nursing home shadowing a CNA. Which ought to weed out some, yes. And I don't know if weed out's the right descriptor, but help them find their destiny.
Yeah. Yeah, I do some interprofessional education stuff, and so I've been a part of a project that we help students, expose students to child welfare. And you know what? It sounds counterintuitive, but if I can help someone realize that that's not a job that they want, and I can prevent them from going through 6 months of training and starting a job and then quitting, I feel like I've succeeded.
Yeah, it's a service to them and society. So I appreciate it.
And outcomes in child welfare, like when we have high turnover of staff, it is horrific outcomes for the children and families.
Yeah, they've lost that stability.
They lost that stability.
Yeah.
And then their casework, their case paper, like it's not good for children and families when case managers or investigators turn over.
That's fair. Lori, I saw your comment asking about a drink. So we are drinking key lime LaCroix. At least that's what Lisa's drinking. I'm doing it in a cocktail, and so it's got some lime juice plus a little bit of vodka plus the LaCroix, because I need an excuse to drink on a Wednesday night. So yeah, we're doing a key lime LaCroix mixer. All right. So speaking of that, we're sitting here drinking and talking about video games, and your expertise is in this, I mean, somewhat solemn area of like child maltreatment.
It is.
So when you begin these dialogues, I mean, you're enthusiastic about the research, but it's also a very touchy subject.
It is.
And so how do you balance that? How are we supposed to balance that tonight while conversing?
Yeah, so the way I am irreverent and goofy in my life, and yet the topics of child maltreatment I have to take seriously. I assume that with the prevalence of maltreatment, that there are people that are here tonight that have experienced maltreatment, or they have experienced power-based interpersonal violence, such as domestic violence, stalking, other forms of violence. And so I always make sure that I am talking in a way that could not potentially be triggering to someone. And I make sure that when I'm talking about my work, that I am not giving graphic examples, that I am always respectful. And I also, when I teach my child maltreatment class, I make it really, really clear that we can say in our heads, like, well, I would never do that. It's an us than them. I do a really interesting class activity, and my students who graduate will come back and tell me, like, that has stayed with me for years. So right before we go on break, and we take a 15-minute break in the class, I turn on a video. I just turned on the audio of this video on YouTube, and it's of a child who's colicky and crying. And I don't know how many people have been around a colicky baby. It's a distressing cry, and I put it on full volume, and I have my students listen to it for 15 minutes and during the break. So students often stay in the room and hang out with me, and I help so it builds empathy, because students leave the room and they also start getting really agitated with me. And they'll be like, turn it off. Why are we doing this? And they get angry, like really, really angry, because they can't stop the baby from crying. And it's subconscious rage. Right? And so what's interesting, I finally will turn it off. And what I talk about is it's like, okay, so I want you to imagine that you're a single parent, that you are working 2 jobs, that you are exhausted, you have few resources, and that is going on in your life 10 hours a day. There is no excuse to hurt a child, but we can have empathy for people who sometimes lose it and hurt a child. And so what we need to do is we need to recognize that we are all one bad decision away from hurting someone, and that we need to make sure that everyone in their lives has access to support, so that no one has to go through that alone. And so we can't think of this as like, there are the child abusers and then the rest of us. That there is a social context that matters, and all of us play a big role. So when I'm talking about child maltreatment, I'm talking about child welfare. I'm also very frequently talking about what our responsibilities are as humans and not just as professionals.
Yeah, one of the eye-opening things for me is the you see people like losing their kid because they left them in a car, right? And that's like, how could anyone ever do that until you have a kid and you're sleep deprived for 4 days in a row and you're just not functional. And so at some point, it's not even a conscious decision. It's just your brain is not working anymore.
Well, and you know, so I also give scenarios to students, and I talk about, you know, you're a single parent, or you're in a relationship with, and the co-parent is someone who also has a job, and you're passing ships in the night, and you don't have a lot of backup, and you have a child that escapes from your house. So what do you do? And my students will sometimes come up with the ideas that would get them reported to child welfare. Like, you're not allowed to put a lid on a crib and cage a child in.
I was going to say shock collar, but a lid.
But like, and seriously, and then so people are like, so one of my main goals is when we're talking about child maltreatment is to understand that we have to see this with compassion, and we also have to understand that, like, parents need support and help. And when we look at child maltreatment, and so child maltreatment has different categories. So there's abuse and neglect, and there's different types of abuse. So abuse is doing something, neglect is not doing something. So maybe not providing food, shelter, clothing, adequate supervision. But we need to make sure that, like, we address this, because 80% of maltreatment is actually neglect. And so we need to provide more support, more resources, more education. And that's something that, like, you know, we can do this for our neighbors. You know, and it's not always so simple as that. And often there's intergenerational problems too. But when I talk about child maltreatment, I want to talk about hope. I want to talk about ways to intervene. And I want to make sure that we are not afraid of offering and accepting help.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a shame thing.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, that was something that was crazy to me when I first had kids, because I knew a lot of, like, developmental psychologists just from Ask a Scientist and things like that. And I'm like, you know, which daycare should they go to? And sometimes it's as simple as, do you feel like they're safe and cared for? It's a success story. And the same thing with, like, parenting. How can I damage my kid? Withholding love is one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Like, that is the most impactful. So it's not hard. You don't have to be a top-notch parent.
Right.
Just don't be terrible.
Well, and the thing is, it's like, what we know children need is safe, stable, nurturing relationships. So the CDC has this whole safe, stable, nurturing relationships. And that is so key to successful development and children thriving. And yet, how do we expect some families to be able to do that when there's so many problems that they may be facing? And it also is exciting to know that if there is a mistake, so you win the Bad Parent of the Year award, and there are mistakes, we know that if there are safe, stable, nurturing relationships, children are pretty resilient. So, and that's the other thing is that children who end up in the child welfare system, there's sometimes this, like, well, they're going to end up in the juvenile justice, they'll end up in prison. And while we do see a child welfare to prison pipeline, that is often about a failure of a system, and it's not really about the children's resilience. Yeah.
Man, that's intriguing. So following up on that, I mean, our dialogue here, when you have an airplane conversation, the person next to you says, what do you do? And you're like, I'm an expert in social work. Do they dump on you? Do they look the other way? What does that look like?
Okay, so you can ask my husband on airplanes. I put on my headset and I will not talk, because it is, I don't care how short the flight is. If people want to share how they've had their children wrongfully removed, they want to share nightmare stories, and they want to confess their sins. And So I just shut down airplane conversations. But as I'm meeting people and I'm talking about my work, and I can always escape. Airplanes, you can't. I mean, you are not, even if you sit in an exit row, they do not let you get out there if you want to. But when I talk to people about this, I explain that I believe that we need to help people thrive and flourish, and that we need to address the underlying issues. A lot of that can be related to poverty and other intergenerational problems. So we can look at mental health, we can look at intimate partner violence. And look at me.
Good move.
I know.
Getting it. Oh, no.
No, okay, so yeah.
That was a solid 10 seconds.
I did that.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, so maybe the secret is talking about something I'm passionate. I'm pouring the energy in. So I spend a lot of time doing some education, but people do often want to share their traumatic stories. And, I do feel that one of my roles as a researcher, and I do a lot of qualitative work, so I feel incredibly honored when people feel enough to trust me with what has happened in their lives. And so when I'm collecting data, or, if it's that I'm meeting someone and they decide to disclose something, it is truly an honor for people to share something, a vulnerable thing or their vulnerability about what has happened to them, because there is such stigma around this. And so I'm always quick to make sure that they know how much I believe in resilience, and that I don't believe that anything that a child, well, in such a society, the research says this, is like children are not to blame. So it doesn't matter if someone's 17 years old. It is not their responsibility, even if they were quote unquote a difficult child. It is never a child's fault to experience abuse or neglect. And so I also feel that that's an important message that I share with people when they want to tell me about their lives or experiences.
Oh, that's fair.
And it happens all the time. I mean, when you think about how frequent maltreatment exists, and, each year we have over 650,000 children annually in foster care in the U.S. Like, the statistics are such that, like, I'm not sure how many people are watching right now, but we probably have someone who's been in the child welfare system. And my research focuses on aging out, and that's only about 15 to 20% of the population that in foster care that will age out. But still, it's
a lot.
A lot of people are having these experiences, or even if they're not in the child welfare system, they could have been.
So acid dancer, definitely. I do clinical interviews for PTSD, and people are so often relieved to have the opportunity to share these things. I mean, just to talk about, that's the goal of most psychologists.
Yes.
Just expressing things.
Yeah.
I mean, so along the lines of people dumping things, so do you see a prevalence of students attracted to social work because of their personal experience, or who goes into social work?
So who goes into social work? So I see that social workers are very idealistic, wanting to change the world, wanting to help people, want to make an impact. Although I have to be honest, I see that in a lot of Florida State students broadly. And so, but definitely in social work, that it is something about, like, I joke that we basically are driven by Michael Jackson's "Heal the World," make it a better place for you and for me, and that's sort of our theme song. I think with a lot of us, that we want to make things better, and I think that it is incredibly empowering for people to realize that social work is a profession where they can make a difference. That they can break intergenerational cycles, and they can improve the lives of children, families, and communities. I do see, when I teach my child maltreatment class, which I haven't taught for a couple of years because I've been focusing on administration. But when I see that, I do see that there's a selection bias, and students are choosing to take a class and choosing to get in child welfare because of personal experience. And it may not be that they experienced it. It could be that they had an adoptive sibling, that they had a teacher who had a foster child that impacted them, or they were in a church community. So, but they often have some sort of connection. I mean, the other reason that people took the class is because it was the only elective on a Thursday night, and they were looking for a Thursday night class. And those students always are rough.
Crying babies.
I know. Yeah. So those are students I always ask on have them fill out note cards about like why they're in the class. And for those students, I'm like, well, it's going to be a semester.
I mean, maybe they find out they love it, or they never want to have kids. It could go either way.
I know, right? I know, right?
Man, that's so you'd say the prevalence of people in social work, it's higher than the general populace in terms of having been in that system.
And that they're more sensitive to it too. Yeah.
Well, that's fair. I mean, that's one of those things, like, for me, I have so many students that, you know, they want to help people, so they're going to med school, but they also want to get a fat paycheck. And so, but in social work, students understand this is not a lucrative career.
Yeah, no, it is. We are not known for our paychecks. But we sleep well at night in some levels. I mean, so yes, you can ruminate and think about like the horrible atrocities in the world, and that can disrupt your sleep. But like when you know that you have helped someone, that you are making an impact on their lives, you are helping them, you know, become the best version of themselves. That's amazing. Or connecting with resources, or helping them find a strength that you see, and being able to hold up the mirror. And, you know, it's a cool career.
That's awesome.
It pays very poorly. Let me stress. Pays very poorly.
You're not buying a second house. I'm sorry.
No.
But you're needed. You're appreciated. Wish society paid you more, much like teachers, especially K through 12.
Oh my gosh, oh yes.
I mean, they're their own social workers, right? There's
oh my gosh,
so
they totally
much
are.
Obligatory things that,
Yeah, my sister's a physics teacher, and she basically does social work during her tutorials during lunch. Like her students come to questions, and it's life questions, and things are hard, and it's relational, and yeah. Teachers work hard.
On a lighter note, how are you feeling about Pac-Man? You're a half hour in?
I think I'm getting good at this. I mean, I'm not really like progressing that far, but I think that
you're definitely more consistent.
I am more consistent. Yeah, and
no pressure.
Yeah, and Pinky seems to get me every time, but that's okay. Yeah,
Pinky in particular.
Yeah, no, it is. If you're watching, the pink one has it out for me. Maybe that's the bow on my hair. There's some jealousy.
I see.
Like the Mean Girl stuff. Yeah.
You're still. I think this is, if you beat 3 levels, you get this screen.
Okay.
Progress. And you can go back to the YouTube video and find out how many quarters it cost you.
Awesome.
I can't remember, is Miss Pac-Man, if anyone in the audience knows, if it has a kill screen. I don't know if you're familiar with this. Like the original Pac-Man, you can't beat it. It keeps going.
Yeah.
It turns out you get to a point where you roll over the score and you jam the memory sufficiently where it just can't process anymore, and it's called a kill screen. And so you cannot play beyond that point. And so that is the maximum level you can get to.
Are you concerned that I'm going to do that today?
I don't know if Miss Pac-Man has one, but we'll see.
I mean, even if there is one, I think we're probably safe, Ken.
Oh, it's like 258 levels or something ridiculous.
I think I'll be okay. I think we have enough for this evening.
Pac-Man kill screen.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I'm almost getting to 10,000. I get another life at 10,000.
Yeah, you're getting close. Your high score is... Keep playing until you beat 10,000?
Sure.
Let's do it. Pac-Man's kill screen is due to an overflow error at the level counter. Level 256 is treated as level 0, causing the game to draw 256 fruits, which glitches the screen. So that is the Pac-Man kill screen, is 256.
Okay, so the fact that I've probably only gone up to 4, even if there is one, we are never going to find it.
Yeah.
So my challenge is for your future guests, for someone to be that good.
Does Miss Pac-Man have a kill screen? Miss Pac-Man does have a kill screen. Look at that.
maybe it's level 4 I can get there.
No one's ever gotten there, so we level 4.
Yeah.
We're doing it tonight. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Lori has redeemed her Quest a factoid with her internet units.
Oh, corrective factoid. So we haven't talked a ton about young people aging out. So can I give a little bit of background before I give a factoid?
Absolutely. Let's do
Okay,
it.
so young people age out of the child welfare system when they are in foster care and they are not reunified or adopted or put into a guardianship or other form of permanency. So basically, it's when children have languished in care, and instead of having permanency, they turn 18 or 21, depending on the jurisdiction, because sometimes jurisdictions allow young people to stay up until 21. And at that point, they have nowhere to go and they age out. And so I know that we'll talk more about like this aging out when we're talking about my work. But fun fact is that the official standards or the official statistics are about 20,000 people age out of the child welfare system annually. But so that's the fact, and that's what everyone's gonna do, but is gonna cite. However, like I want to comment on this I'm highly critical about how we think about aging out, and if we think about it as a one single time point, like you turn 18 and you age out. Yep. Well, that's okay. So maybe we can say that that's 20,000 people. However, I don't know if you think back about turning 18. At 18, I was not fit to be an adult. I'm 49, and like some days I'm still not fit to be an adult, right?
Fair.
And so thinking about it as a process in both preparing to age out as well as after aging out and living life on your own and independent living. Mm-hmm. And so I consider that aging out, and the federal government would make services available for those who are look at me go.
Yeah, no, you chased that ghost
I know,
down.
I did. I know. I was like,
No
well,
fear.
I'm going to die or not.
No
It's
fear.
okay.
No fear.
So the federal government says that we can start providing independent living services, which is a key part of preparing aging out as young as 14. And we know that the adolescent brain is fully formed, and people's frontal cortex is fully formed at age 25. So I say that people are aging out between the ages of 14 and 24. And when you look at that and do the numbers, it actually comes much closer to 180,000 young people that are aging out. So still very inconsequential in terms of the American population. And yet, when you think of some of their needs and the resources, like it's really a huge impact on our society.
Well, that is intriguing. So there's the legal definition is just parenthood.
Yep.
The more
age of maturity.
Sorry, adult, yeah.
Adulthood, age of maturity. Mm-hmm. But when you really look at it culturally and think of it as it's like when we really are ready to live on our own, and the time that goes into it, we're talking much closer to 180,000 or 200,000 young people are aging out annually. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. That's across the entire United States.
Across the entire United States.
That's fair.
Yeah. And there's so much that goes into preparing to independent living. So I don't know about you, Ken, but when I turned 18, okay, so I'm 49. My parents live in town, and they may even be on here. Hi, Mom and Dad, if you are.
Respect.
Yeah.
Finding Twitch.
Yeah. They watch Chris, so they may be here.
All right.
We'll see. But I'm 49 years old. They live in town, and I have dinner with them sometimes 6 nights a week. And you know, they help me out, and sometimes it's like, you know, and I help them out too, but like sometimes it's like, hey, they're running to Costco, can you get me groceries for the week? Or it's, you know, I'm gonna have a long day, can you come let the dog out? And you know, I have a ton of support and a ton of resources, but if you think about someone who is in foster care and is aging out, they don't necessarily have the family to come through, and they have all of the demands of being 18 years old and not knowing how to do things. And so it's it's really important that we help prepare young people to get the independent living skills that they, of running a household, budgeting, solving problems, dealing with the landlord, dealing with conflicts at work, applying for jobs, applying for loans. So anyways, I think that, totally lost my train of thought now that I went to the blue screen. Problems. I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. Now I'm, yeah.
Got this.
I know. Look at me. Look at me go.
It's definitely a more challenging screen.
It is.
It's tighter turns.
They're faster. They're eating them. And it's that pinky. I don't think that I'm going to get the 10,000.
But you're so close,
I'm so
though.
close.
You're
I'm
so
so
close.
Okay.
But if you get sick of this, let me know. We'll transition to something else.
It's all good. But we think about like preparing young people for adulthood and just the number of skills that people need to be successful, to be on their own. And young people aging out of foster care are way more on their own than their peers who were not involved in the child welfare system. So they have fewer resources, fewer supports, less of a safety net, and higher expectations. Yeah. And so it's really inspiring to see all that. Oh, so close.
That was a push.
So close. It's really inspiring to see how resourceful and their grit and their problem solving. That's originally some of the reason that I really got into this work, because I was a grad student. I'm getting my doctorate, and I'm interviewing these 18-year-olds who are talking about how they're living on their own, and I was like, I still do my laundry at my mom and dad's house, and so it's really inspiring. We just need to make sure that they have more supports and resources in place so that they can be successful.
That's fair. All right, Cuddle Puppy, welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Is there a proper way to measure and correct emotional abuse by parents and guardians?
Oh,
measure. That's an interesting.
Yeah.
You do have quantified scale? Is there a uniform descriptor?
So I'm going to answer two ways. So from a research perspective, yes, there are assessments that we can use, and some of them are also retrospective accounts from the children. We also have some retrospective accounts from parents. When we're talking about assessing with in the field as a profession, there are different tools, but that was luck. But it is both an art and a science. And one of the things that we're increasingly going towards is using like some big data to make decisions and help in structured decision making about if a child is in danger and what is going on. So with assessment, you actually do need to de-aggregate the research and practice. If you think about interventions and how we help train parents, there are incredibly effective programs that can be done. Now, I still am highly critical that I don't believe that all of them have been normed for all populations, and we need to take culture into consideration. And it's not just me saying that. Like any evidence-based practice, we really want to make sure that it's what works for whom and when. And yet there is a lot of work in this area. It's a great question. Thanks. And that was Cuddle Puppy?
Yep. Spinning
Yes.
one. Hi, Lisa. This is Mom and Dad. We are watching. First time dad, welcome to the stream. Mom and Dad, you should click the follow button, even if you never watch Twitch again. Make our numbers go up.
That's right.
We're at 976 followers, and we're on the verge of breaking 1,000. So if you want to join that army, click the follow button. You'll get a notification every 2 weeks about future guests, in case you're interested about other people and their expertise. But thank you for joining us on Twitch. Anyone that just joining us, our guest today is Lisa Schelbe. She's an expert. She's in the College of Social Work at Florida State University. She's an expert in child welfare, and particularly thinking about the transition from foster care out to the real world, as it's so called. But yeah, she's happy to answer any questions you guys have while she's going for 10,000 in Pac-Man.
I mean, there's a chance that if you hadn't mentioned what my expertise was, people would assume that my expertise was in Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, you'd be mistaken.
You would be deeply mistaken, but
Man, I've seen enough Pac-Man. I don't know if you're familiar with there's a lot of drama about Pac-Man.
No.
The world record holder, the first person to beat Pac-Man, his name is Billy Mitchell. And he's a cartoon character. In fact, there's a documentary about Donkey Kong called King of Kong Fistful of Quarters, where it's Billy Mitchell versus Steve Wiebe going after this world record. And you couldn't write a better bad guy.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And if you haven't seen it, yeah, Billy Mitchell's such a nice guy. I agree, cuddle puppy. No, he's just a terrible person. If you and Chris haven't seen it,
oh my gosh,
King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters.
Chris, let's swap it. Add it to the list.
He was like 18 years old when he beat Pac-Man for the first time. Like he got to the kill screen before anyone. He got the highest score, and he's just an amazing bad guy. And recently had a bunch of scores revoked because he was caught cheating on modern systems. The original score was presumably real, but that's Billy Mitchell drama.
Love those drama stories.
Of Kong. Full of quarters. There we go. And this is one of my favorite documentaries, and it's because it's just so well told. It's like you can't write better characters than this. These are real people, and they're following them. Obviously, they're editing them to get what they want.
Of course.
Man, it is a lot of fun. You guys should check it out if you haven't seen it.
Well, I'll totally do that.
And it'll inspire you to go after a kill screen.
You're gonna have to explain to my dean why I'm no longer productive. It's like, so I have a new research agenda. It's Miss Pac-Man.
I mean, so here's the key. Get the arcade cabinet in your office.
Okay, yeah.
And a little bit of writing, a little bit of gaming.
I mean, yeah, I'm interested in doing some work around well-being. And like, I don't know.
And students would come by more often?
Yeah.
I see that. There's opportunities.
I totally could. I totally could.
But yeah, there's all sorts of strategies in this game where you can control where the ghosts go based on where you move. And then also you sit by these things because you have to kill every single ghost. And yeah, there's all sorts.
That's the corner that kills me every time.
And it might be the joystick too, not as good as the original arcade joystick. But
I think you're being kind. I'm pretty sure it's me. But thanks.
But yeah, if anyone has questions for Lisa, she's happy to answer them. Feel free to throw those in chat while we hang out playing a little bit Pac-Man. Drinking some key lime LaCroix. Hanging out on Wednesday night.
It's a beautiful
And
thing.
we're almost halfway through the semester.
That's really wild, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm with my 18 lectures down, 20 to go. So yeah, I put that countdown on the calendar every single day when I show up to class.
Okay. So what are you teaching right now? What's this week?
General Chemistry 2, and so I'm teaching equilibria. So chemical equilibria, how you calculate that, how it's lets you predict which way reactions will go, how to increase products, increase reactants. It's a lot of fun. The kinetics and equilibria are my favorite things to teach in the class. So
Fun.
good couple weeks.
Nice.
And then we go to acid-based chemistry, and it just equilibria plus details.
Okay.
So yeah.
Nice.
But this is a pretty good run. Still got one Pac-Man left. So on this arcade, I don't have cheat codes, but like for Nintendo, I do. So you can get infinite lives, and you can beat games and stuff like that. But you're playing the original arcade version, so you're all in on the actual quarter eater version of this game.
So my parents knew people that I actually played it in a pizza shop that friends of my parents. The Colemans owned a pizza shop, and they would give us rolls of quarters. And I think that they just sent us away to play video games while the adults hung out. And so
Does that count as child maltreatment?
No. Great. It's great, yeah. I mean, I think it turned out okay. So, So even it was. It was the resilience of childhood, right?
Yeah, no, it was positive.
Perfect example.
Reinforcing. Wow, nice. All right.
Maybe this is the screen.
We're going to it. Act
meet.
one, they meet. Look at this tale as old as time.
Yeah.
All right. Acid Dancer wants to know, in the field of clinical psychology, clinicians so often accidentally end up being harmful. How does that sort of issue play a role in social work in your experience? More damage than good.
So I wanted, instead of talking about social work, I really want to talk about child welfare. And so, which is sort of, shouldn't be conflated. And yet I think it's actually probably more important to look at this, since my area is child welfare. And you can extrapolate, because I will just say, yes, I think that some of this happens in and all of our clinical social work too. Well, actually beyond, I think that when social workers are making decisions without taking the lived expertise of the people we serve and families and communities, we always have the potential to do damage. But what I get very concerned about is that sometimes we are holding families to unrealistic expectations, and we remove children, and we put children into foster care, and the trauma of being removed from family. So imagine you come home from school one day and you're met at the door by a police officer, or the police officer comes into your school and says, you know, you're going to go with Miss So-and-so, and
Jeez.
you don't have any of your belongings, and you're placed in a home that you don't know anyone, and these are going to be your caretakers for the foreseeable future. Like, that's really tough. And so sometimes I feel that the danger that of the damage that can be done inadvertently.
Get it?
Okay. So close.
Wow.
That was me. That was not the joystick. I meant to go left or right, and I went left.
That's
So
exciting.
sometimes we're removing children, and you know it's actually really big right now. And part of the discussion is about that the child welfare system is hurting families, and the fact that we're removing children, and the majority of children who are removed are reunited, and frequently the reunification happens within months, and so like. If there really was abuse and neglect going
you
on,
didn't fix it in 2 months.
thank you. Right, so you get this.
Yeah.
So that is my fear of some of this stuff in child welfare. That we need to find ways that we can preserve families, keep children safe, and that we can also use the resources for the children who really are in danger.
So is there general consensus that is too overzealous in taking kids away right now?
Would I say there's general consensus? Yes. What to do about that is where it's different. So there's something that's called the abolitionist movement that's like, we need to abolish the child welfare system, and it's like, burn it down. We need to do better. And well, I do think that we need to do better. I don't think that anything good comes from like burning it down, because we do need to make sure that there's a way to remove children from parents when there is imminent risk. We definitely need reform. If some of my work, I write about the need for reimagining, and that's actually a middle ground. So it's not saying that the child welfare system is the root of all evil and it causes all problems for children and families, but it is saying that like we need to reimagine how to better serve children and families in the communities in which they live.
I mean, that's such a tenuous spot to be in,
Yep.
because it's like you see those news stories about, oh, the cops were called 4 times and eventually the parent killed the kid, and so
Right.
social welfare system has failed them, which is kind of true, but like, how do you even draw that line?
And those are the cases that get in the news. Those are not the majority of cases.
Yeah, I suppose.
And you know, you also read, so if you want to read horror stories about how the child welfare system is failed, there's a couple of exposés. One of them is in the LA Times that was in maybe 21. But the Miami Herald ran an expose in 2013 that was called Innocence Lost, and it's innocence like the noun, not what's the another form of, so it's innocence, and it's talking about the innocent children that were known to the Department of Children and Families, our child welfare system in the state of Florida, and died. And so it talks about all of the things that went wrong, and there's fabrication of reports, there's inadequate supervision of the families, poorly managed case plans, and then some of it's like having staff turnover and not doing their due diligence and getting up to speed on cases. But at the end of the day, we need the child welfare system. We cannot function. We can't say that everyone's going to be okay with a little bit of extra resources. There are always going to be extreme cases and children that we need to help and intervene and remove them from the home. And so, but this is hotly debated. So
It's hard.
yeah,
It's just a hard problem.
it is.
And affects people's existence.
Yep.
I mean, and I do not envy that, because I work in chemistry. If I screw up, I cause some chemicals. Typically don't cause damage, but yeah.
Right. I'm sure if you you did the wrong thing. You could blow things up.
That's true.
Oh, come on,
Or
you're
some
selling yourself
negligence.
short.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, you could blow things up.
There are genuine problems I could cause.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm not going to damage students too much.
No, no. And I will say that that's one of the stress I see of our social work students is sometimes it's like they do realize it's like, you know, the awesome, amazing responsibilities that they have, and knowing that like if they get things wrong, like what does that mean? So I'm very student centric in my teaching, and I offer a lot of grace and flexibility. And in my child maltreatment, child welfare class, there is no flexibility. There is no late assignments, hard stop. If things are not, and students are like, but you know, like there was a family crisis.
That's a professional development strategy. Huh.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And like, so if it's a university excuse absence, I can work. And of course there are circumstances that's like, okay, you were in a car accident, your child's in a coma. Those are things I'm like, okay, you can document this. And it's also that like, I can't tell you that like, if you are responsible for writing a report for a child who's going to go to court and you don't get it done, and the child is not removed or is removed and shouldn't have been, like people die.
Yeah,
like
that's on you.
yeah. So I tell my students that, you know, I'm harsh on you because I care so much about the children and families that you're going to serve.
And are they understanding of that position generally?
Until they don't get the grace they want. But no, they do come back around, and I provide a lot of scaffolding, and the first thing, it's, you know, it's a 15-week semester, and the first week we do a whole session on self-care and create self-care plans about what they're going to do on a regular basis, how they're going to handle crisis. So when things get hard, what are they going to do to take care of themselves? And so like I do try to help people prepare and manage the stress and their time management, and yeah.
I respect
So
that.
yeah.
73,000.
That may be my high today.
That's not bad.
I guess I got the 9960. I'm not sure.
We got 4 minutes till 9 o'clock. I recommend at least one more try.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. This is the one.
This is going to be the one.
Let's do a prediction before.
Okay.
Which one do you want to do? Should we start with the top one? Or it's up to you.
Yeah. No, let's start with the bottom one. I think that's the interesting one. I think that's one of the fun things to look. Well, that's the horrible thing. My fun facts are decidedly disturbing.
Yeah, they're a little dark.
Yeah.
They've got some edge to them. We're not
People
having fun
die.
tonight.
You know.
I mean, we balance it. We can talk about this with All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not following us, click the follow button, because we're going to pop up a prediction. And what predictions are on Twitch is we're going to ask the audience questions. Usually it's video game related, like, will Lisa break, 10,000 on this particular round? But on our stream, we have our guests write questions for you guys. And so it's things related to their expertise. It's factual information that they can, ask you guys about. And so we're going to pop up a question right now. If you're not following us, click that follow button. If you are following us, do your prediction based on what you know. You can't use Google or ChatGPT or whatever it is. And so the question here is youth aging out with 1 day of homelessness during their first year of
Leaving care. Yep.
Leaving care. And so aging out in this case is 18 years old. Is that what we're classifying? So after a kid or a young person ages out into the so-called real world, what percentage of those have at least 1 day of homelessness? Is it greater than 30% or less than 30%? And so, focus while we will let the question run. Well, that's interesting. Lori has a commentary. I wish a self-care course was taught. Mandatory student success course for all freshmen in college.
So at Florida State, we do have the resilience toolkit, and our students are encouraged to learn about self-resilience. So it's, and there's a training, and different colleges also can become trauma aware, or departments, and get the training that can help prepare their students. I could not agree more that we need to focus on our students' well-being, and being able to practice self-care. It's an important life skill.
All right, so you guys have about 20 some seconds left. Youth aging out of foster care. How many of them have at least one day of homelessness during their first year of independence after turning 18? Is it greater than 30% or is it less than 30%? And I don't even know if ChatGPT would find this answer for you, but you can't use it. Use what you know, what you've learned from the chat so far. Oh man, Cuddle Puppy. I got fired 8 years ago for taking a half day off for self-care.
I am so sorry. That should never happen.
Sounds like you need to be working for better people. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's really hard.
And there's that whole oxygen mask, like in a plane. If your plane's going down, you put on yours before you help others. Like, we have to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
As social workers, as academics, as just humans, like, we have to do better.
I'm going to wait to answer this till you get your last round here. This is your under pressure all or nothing.
Yeah, the pinky, like the pinkies.
I mean, you're okay though.
Out to get me.
You have a couple lives left.
I know. I got a couple, but still.
Pinky. Somebody wrote Pinky, particularly vindictive.
I know. Yeah, Pinky.
Oh no.
I'll tell you what, you know
Revenge.
what? On one of the games I get to name characters, I'm putting Pinky and I'm hoping that Pinky.
Oh, Oregon Trail.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Like,
We have
Pinky.
to do it.
And you know what? If Pinky gets sick, I'm not resting for her.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be vindictive too. It's not a very social worky thing, but, you know. Yeah. Game over.
What?
I know. So
All right.
close.
So what is the answer? Greater than 30%, less than 30%?
So it's less than 30%. So it's 1 in 5. So we're at 25% experience homelessness in their first year of leaving care. And when you think about that, so one, housing instability is something even broader than homelessness. But with homelessness, we're talking that they may be sleeping on the streets, they may have to couch surf, they may have to go to a shelter. So imagine you have to navigate becoming an adult on your own, and you need to find a job, you need to find food, you need to pay a cell phone bill, you need to do all of these things, and you have the added stress of not knowing where you're going to sleep because you're experiencing housing instability. And then these 1 out of 5 are experiencing homelessness. So it's a huge thing to take into consideration when we're working with young people aging out about, like, if you think about Maslow's hierarchy and the basic needs that must be met at the bottom before we can get to the upper things of like self-actualization, they're often in survival mode, which makes it all the more impressive of when they get to college, or that they're holding down jobs and navigating adulthood on their own.
So does the formalized systemic support end at 18, or is there's some things after that?
There's some things after that, and it's by geography. So in some jurisdictions they are much better. I will actually say Florida does it pretty well. I think I put it in one of the top states of what we're doing.
Wow.
And yet there is also that just because the services are available, sometimes there are so many caveats and requirements
barriers,
that young people are like, I'm out. And so we call that, the term I use was given to me by a practitioner, and they said it's like systemitis. So it's like senioritis for anyone who has a high schooler. By their senior year, they want to skip class. They don't want to do that. They're just done with being a student. And so we see that with young people who are aging out. They're like done with the system. They want normalcy. They want to be in control of their lives. So it's not just as simple as like throwing services and allowing them to stay in care, because sometimes services are available to 18 to 24 years old, and yet they're 18 and they're like, I'm leaving because I'm of the age of majority, and you can't make me stay because you haven't been treating me with respect. I want control of my life.
That's fair. All right. Congratulations to those of you that said less than 30%. We're glad that number is low. So that's a good thing, or at least lower than 30%. So congratulations on your payout. You're 3.63 to 1. So congratulations to you guys. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are transitioning to an all-time classic. In this case, we're going to play some Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail.
All right, so
Yeah.
here's your keyboard.
Awesome.
I think that's all you need.
I think it's all I need.
So
Okay.
town.
So let's travel.
Travel this trail. Yeah, I might not have number locked
Okay.
on.
So I'm a social worker, and so there's part of me that's like, let's be with the land, let's be a farmer. There's part of me like, let's help people, let's be a carpenter. But you know what? I'm going to be a capitalist, and I'm going to be a banker. And you know what?
Let's do the ghosts. What are they? Inky, Pinky?
Well, should we do that?
No. You should be the lead.
Okay, so I'm going to be. So I was thinking that we could do Inky.
What are their names?
Is it? Well, no, I know Blinky is one of them, and Blinky and Pinky.
It's Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde.
Blinky. Clyde.
And
Is Clyde. And you know what? I'm putting Pinky last. 'Cause you know what? She was not kind to me. I'm vindictive. Yep. Petty. Okay.
We're doing it.
Are these names correct?
Absolutely they are.
Yes.
They're better than correct.
Okay. Let's leave in April. Why not?
I'm sure there's an optimized choice there.
There
I don't
is.
know what it is. Do you want to guess what the world record speed run in this is?
Please tell me.
What's your guess? What's the fastest somebody has beaten this in?
Probably some ridiculous number like 7 minutes.
I think it's 3 minutes.
Really? Oh, yeah, I'm not. Nope. That's not me. Okay. So let's buy lots of oxen.
All right, let me double check that. I need the exact number.
Okay. Lots of food.
When you got the money.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Clothing it is. Yeah.
Oh no, OBS disconnected. We might be frozen for the internet.
We're frozen?
Potentially.
Okay.
Oh, keep going.
Okay.
We'll figure it
Sets of
out.
clothing. 2 per person. So let's do 10. Ammunition.
All right, there we're back. Sorry we cut out there. I don't know. It disconnected for some reason.
Spare parts.
Misadventures in Astro, welcome back. I mean, I've died in 3 minutes.
you know, I totally have too.
Yeah, I don't know. OBS disconnected there. Hopefully we're back on. Hopefully you guys can see this. But yeah, you lost us for about 30 seconds there. I honestly don't know what happened. So I
It was
apologize.
all the you know what? Let's blame Pinky.
Yeah, Pinky did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But hopefully we're back.
Okay.
Oh, and we got the jams.
Like, isn't that great? Does that bring? Did you play this as a kid?
I did. Yeah. No, I had the non-color version initially, like the Apple IIe, the green pixels.
I played this on an Apple II GS.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Classic. So, yeah, we're back. We're playing some Oregon Trail. We're doing it with the ghosts from Pac-Man. Lisa's leading the cult.
Yeah.
Oh wow, Lori was sent to an ad during that during that break.
Oh gosh.
So you miss out on us, but making money for Amazon. Man, that's funny.
See, this is why we like money, folks. Yes, $5. It's a great.
All right, so sorry, I was looking up Oregon Trail. What's the fastest somebody has beaten this game?
Isn't it amazing that like these graphics used to be like really exciting and the music was so
It
cool.
looks so real.
Yeah.
Fifth not the DOS one. Which one am I looking for? Is that the right one? Maybe. Oh yeah, that one. So the world record is 3 minutes and 25 seconds.
Gosh.
And so you're right, Lori. And so I looked this up last time we had a guest play on this. Who played this last? I can't remember off the top of my head. I apologize. But it was basically like you put 1 in as the name, so you can mash 1 really fast if you have to select something.
Okay.
And it's just like a whole lot of RNG or guesswork. Like, will you succeed in forging the river? How can you do it as fast as possible? So yeah. 3 minutes, 25 seconds. It's no pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping, like, for me, the insult was dying of dysentery.
Classic.
Although, fun fact, I had dysentery when I was working as a social worker overseas for a while.
Wow.
So,
Where
yeah.
were you?
So I was working after the Bay of Bengal tsunami in 2006. I was unemployed, and this fun story is that there was a group of doctors that were going over, and they needed a pharmacist, and they couldn't find a pharmacist to go with their medical team. But I was unemployed, and they were like, "Hey, how hard is it gonna be? Can you count out pills?" And I was like, "Sure." And so I went over and worked with a team of doctors from the U.S., and then I ended up staying and working with a local NGO, non-governmental organization, or what we sometimes call in the U.S. Nonprofit. And I was working in some refugee camps occasionally, or visiting. I wasn't doing a lot of work there, and I somehow got dysentery. I did not die, though, so clearly.
I don't know if I've ever known anyone to get dysentery, so...
I'd give it a 1 out of 10. Do not recommend.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not as much fun as it sounds.
I mean, that doesn't happen much in the U.S. anymore,
No, not so much.
presumably, but international travels, geez.
Yeah. So yeah, I was in Sri Lanka, and
So as long as you don't die from dysentery, this will be a win.
that's my bar. Like, and if Pinky dies, we're okay.
Oh, would you like to look closer? Yes.
I think we do. Let's look. Here lies Voland. Hey, hey, hey! Come out and play.
Amazing.
Wild fruit.
Who
Okay.
played Oregon Trail?
Still good with food and supplies. Let's keep going.
Oh, it's Chantel Buggs. She's a sociologist.
Okay.
She's an expert in dating, racism, the media, and she played Oregon Trail.
That's
It's
awesome.
kind of fun. And she made it to the last, I don't know if you know the water
Yep.
gorging where you control it. She made it there and then crashed.
Nice.
Lori has redeemed take a drink because we're going to drink in donkey wagon drive. Thanks,
Yes.
Lori. Cheers. That's amazing.
Yes.
It's all fun and games till you're drunk trying to cross a river.
You know, drinking and boating is not a good combination. And apparently, forging a river and drinking isn't that great either.
Man, that's okay. I'm drinking for both of us. So
That's
this is
good.
gonna work out fine.
We got this.
Man, I gotta find out why that crashed. That was out of nowhere. A lot of moving parts. Anyone that's not familiar with OBS, we got 3 monitors running with 2 computers, and oh, you're making really good progress. Almost halfway already.
Let's go to Soda Springs. Oops, I need to look at the map again. I thought we were Fort Bridger.
So Fort Bridger, you can buy stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm good on food though. Let's go
Do it.
back.
So you haven't hunted yet. You have to on this trip.
Of course
some
I
point.
do. Of course I
You got
do.
bullets, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Let's go to Fort Bridger.
But yeah, everyone joining us, Ask a Scientist Gaming Mediocre Gameplay Expert Science. The guest today is Dr. Lisa Schelbe. She's an expert in the welfare system, particularly kids transitioning out of foster care. I apologize. Foster care to college to the real world, and what those impacts are on success rates, on pregnancy, on all sorts of different variables, and understanding how that transition affects people. And so if you guys have questions about that or social work in general, we're addressing those questions as well. While we play a little bit of Oregon Trail, I got to change our title name.
As long as I wanted to rest, take care of ourselves, going back to the self-care.
Exactly. Oregon Trail. There's probably not enough Oregon Trail streams on Twitch, so I'm glad you decided to play this one.
Look, I got one.
Are there even sound effects with this? I can't.
I don't think so.
For
I'm
good
feeling
measure,
protected.
right in the head. That's fine. You can
It's
cook
really
metal
dead.
out, right?
It's really, it's like, they're lead bullets, lead poisoning. I shouldn't be too concerned. Okay, 64 pounds of meat.
Yeah,
I think you're only able to carry like 150. So yeah,
that's good enough.
I'm not leaving any supplies back to rot.
Man, this game was great.
Oh my
like
gosh,
middle
yes.
school, this was everything.
Yep.
Misadventures with a fun factoid. Before 2008, you could have a blood alcohol level of 0.1 while operating a boat in Colorado.
Wow. Are we in Colorado yet? I mean,
Exactly.
it feels very relevant.
Oregon Trail's hunting segments turned us into miniature sadists.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Uh-oh, Blinky's sick.
It's not Pinky, though.
I know. Okay, but
No rest for Pinky.
okay, but we're gonna rest because you know what?
All right, we should do another prediction because
Sure.
yeah. Which one do you want to do? Not factoid. One of these guys.
Oh, prediction.
Yep, I'm gonna make sure we get through these.
Let's talk about this one.
Okay. All right, we're gonna pop up another prediction. If you're not following us, click that follow button. I'm looking at you, Lisa's parents. If they're still on, I have no idea. But yeah, we're gonna
Mom and Dad, you can text Chris and they'll tell you how to do it.
Chris will be on top of it.
Chris got you.
Chris is a pretty regular on stream,
I know
which
he
is
is.
kind of fun.
I know.
Hanging out in the living room with the weights, watching Twitch.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna put up a prediction right now. Click the predict button right now. Look at it. The question is for care leavers. This is people leaving foster care system. What is the most important for their success? This is after leaving the foster care system. Is it relationships and support or housing and shelter? Which one of those variables is most impactful on their success? Is there anything else you want to add on?
No.
Onto that? It's pretty straightforward.
That's pretty straight. I think it's good.
Well, that's awesome. Chris already helped them. They're already following. They are one of the 976 followers. So thank you for joining us at Ask a Scientist Gaming. Mediocre gameplay. I always hope like sometimes someone's parents show up on stream and their name is like, you know, getting high 420 XX.
Right?
Like,
You're like, Mom,
no,
Dad.
like, it's anonymous. It's
That's
fine.
right. Okay.
Oh, Indians. A little culturally insensitive, but it was
yeah,
a different
there's
time.
Yeah. Okay.
Cuddle puppy. Vape Nation. Vape Nation 42069. Oh, take that, buddy. You can walk on this too. I think up and down.
Is it,
No, it's
they're not. It wasn't letting me.
it's maybe space bar. Enter.
Yeah, it wasn't
One
letting
of the
me.
buttons lets you walk. Does anyone know? Somebody played this. Press enter.
It's a fast little sucker.
Maybe you're trapped. Press enter to walk. Sporty Stat said. I mean, you might have stuff in the way now, so
Okay, I got 5 pounds. Okay.
totally worth it.
But I've got, you know what? I've got more. I'm gonna hunt for food.
All
We're
right.
gonna do it again.
Oh,
You see,
there
but
we
it
go.
didn't like so these
Point
things.
the rifle. Did those
They
don't
weren't
work or they
working.
do work?
Maybe we'll try it again.
Okay, so those worked. Now press enter. Does that let you walk?
Oh, look
there
at
we
me.
go. Now we're more hunting for real here, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, I grew up in Pittsburgh, and the hunting season, like they just basically stand in deer stands and feed deer corn and shoot down. So I actually may be like hunting like a Pittsburgher. Not much of a sport. I would never survive in Colorado.
I'll wait for you to be done with that. All right, Lisa, what is the answer? Let's choose an outcome on this. What's more important, relationship/support or housing and shelter?
So I sort of set folks up, but actually relationships and support are much more associated with better outcomes than having stable housing. So it is one of those things. While I said that it's Inky broke her arm. When I said that like it's really hard, that doesn't mean that like if we put people in housing. So this is not that I love that there's initiatives out there that they're building tiny house communities specifically for young people aging out of care. But we can't just put people in housing and be like, there you go. That it sounds like it's going to be a great fit, but we need people who have support and real meaningful relationships. And we need them to be able to have someone that they can talk to and that they can, really get help that they need. I didn't shoot food. There's a chance we all starve to death. My health is poor.
Oh no, the weather's hot.
I know. I'm going to try one more time.
Oh,
There we go. That's much better.
Oh, Bear, get that.
Turn around.
Walk. Up. Oh, disappeared. Maybe walk that way a little bit. Get yourself some space. Up and then enter. Yeah, there we go.
Come back.
Oh,
It's coming back. I'll shoot in the general direction.
oh
Okay.
no.
Okay.
One more.
We're gonna do this again.
We got this.
So when the fact that relationships and support are actually more correlated in a lot of research with positive outcomes for young people aging out really speaks to the fact that this is a complex problem, that it's not just a simple, like, give them the housing, give them the...
Oh, it'll go back.
There we go.
Yes.
Yes. Dead deer. Look at me. I'm
You're
done.
done. Yeah,
I'm
save
totally
those
done.
bullets. You
We
were
got
good.
it. Oh, now I'm going to be eaten by a bear. Right?
You died of a bear
Like you
named
have
dysentery.
been maimed by bear. So there's so much that's around support and relationships that people need. So, and this is interesting because the first study that I ever participated in, we were interviewing young people about what it was like to age out of foster care. And so we were interviewing them, and they were saying things like, you know, I don't have food. I'm homeless. I don't have a job. And then, so like these were people that were really having a hard time.
Oof.
These graphics are not aging well. Let's be really, really clear.
But the soundtrack is banging.
Well, yes, yes. Oh, I don't want to. I'm not giving you 48 pounds of meat. I want food. So I'm going to try to trade again. So how many bullets do I have? Nope. Not willing to trade. One last trade. This is harder to do. I'm committed to playing the game, and I lost my train of thought.
No worries. So you were talking to people who were interviewing.
So these people had like these really abysmal outcomes and crises that they were experiencing. And then we asked them this question. Our last interview question is like, what's the greatest hardship that you're facing right now? To a person, every last one of the study participants mentioned things that were related to support and relationships. So it was fascinating that like there's there's young people aging out of foster care who literally are hungry and homeless, and yet they're saying their greatest challenge is like negotiating the relationship with the parent of their child or with their boss or with their landlord.
Oh no. Pinky.
I'm so sorry. Now I feel guilty.
Nope, we're saying GG's on that.
Pinky, you had it coming.
Rest in hell, Pinky.
Kind of, yeah, thanks. Like, sorry.
Oh, we lost Pinky. Pour one out for Pinky.
I know, truly. Okay. Okay.
Sorry, back to serious
One of my
conversation
oxygen
while we
is
cheer
right,
Pinky's death.
right. So
We're terrible people.
So it's interesting that like we know, like we have lots of data that says that the young people are even telling themselves.
Oh, you're out of food. Oof.
I know,
Oh,
I'm
no,
out of
you
food.
got some. Okay.
6 pounds. I just have to make it 73 miles.
Yeah, we got money.
Yeah. Blinky's died. Well,
That's fine.
Blinky, you got, as long as
As long as you
self-interest, as long as
survive.
I'm okay.
Exactly.
Rough trail, gosh. Inky has a fever. Inky, hold it together, buddy. Inky died. Well, you know
Oh
what?
no, we've lost 3.
Yes, I want to look around and I want to get food. Where's the buy supplies? There we
9.
go. 9. Okay, I want food. 7. What else do I want?
Oh, I don't remember.
I forget what else I need.
I think you can go back and
Yeah, I
look
can
at-
go back.
Yeah. So leave
So
store
let's
8.
leave store 8.
Check supplies 2.
Yeah, 2.
Oh man, if you guys haven't played this game, you really should. It's
I need a
lot of
wagon wheel
fun.
and axles and sets of My
Right.
goodness. I may be a banker, but I am not doing as well as I thought I would.
I mean, it's because you're a banker.
Well, karma's
You lack functional skills.
it's
You can count well.
You don't notice they didn't even put an academic on there. They're like, yeah, you stay put in Boston. You're not going to make it in wilderness.
Those that can't
Yeah.
do research.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
Man,
There's a lot to be said there.
man, could I make gunpowder from scratch? Maybe. I know what's in it.
Yeah. I do think that like I'd have some strengths on an apocalypse or zombie team. Like I can get along with people.
You're a people person.
I can people. But when it comes to this, I'm
Oh man,
yeah.
the smell of dead everywhere.
No, remember I didn't want a hospital.
Oh, there's a reason.
That's right.
All right, anyone just joining us, Ask a Scientist Gaming, mediocre gameplay, expert science. We're playing a little bit of Oregon Trail with Lisa Schelbe, who's an expert in the foster care system. If you guys have any questions, like to ask her about that transition or how students or how kids handle that, especially going from like foster care to say college and things like that, put your questions in chat. We are happy to answer them while I mean, you're refreshed now.
I am
Health
totally
is fair.
refreshed. Yeah.
Well, you also let the weak ones die. So
I mean, but there's just two of us. We can travel faster. We're not eating as much. Oh, let's look at the gravesite. Yes. Here lies Scott.
the code is FT.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
Scott had an inside joke.
I'm optimistic though. I think you're gonna win this one. So we're gonna cheer you on.
I think we got this. Look, I held this up to good.
I mean, I think it was the food, right? That was the big thing.
Yeah.
As long as you maintain food, just got to get better at hunting.
Or I don't need to because I just have to buy more because I have money. Okay, I forget the map. I think I want to go to the dolls. Let's do this. I'm not gonna. Let's go to.
Which one is the water? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, your pace is reasonable. You haven't slowed down at all.
I have rested a couple of times.
That's fair.
And I keep losing the trail. I blame Clyde.
Clyde's the only one that left.
Yeah.
It's really based on the names.
That's right.
If it rhymes.
That's right.
Oh, now you're up at you have a decision to make though.
I have no. So how did the thief take 8 oxen? Like seriously, like I'm not gonna wake up in the middle of the night and be like, all of my oxen are going away.
So what is it over?
I
I guess you could attempt to
can
trade.
trade. Well, I don't have any, so
Good luck getting that.
I feel like Clyde should be getting out and pushing.
Oh, there you go.
Then yes.
You don't really have a choice. Also, you have enough food.
Do I need more than one? Can I continue with one?
You're probably good with one.
Yeah.
Look at that. Food.
There's only 2 of us. We'll be fine.
Sorry, we're distracted from the science talk. We're at a pivotal moment in Oregon Trail. Lori, Clyde broke his arm. He can't carry anything. It's time to put Clyde down. He's just dead weight.
Kinda.
It's weird. Your food numbers went up. Why?
Sounds like I've turned it into a cannibal, maybe? Like, this is not...
Nope, it's fine.
Don't ask questions.
Clyde's a troublemaker.
I know.
Come on, just get to the... All right.
Okay.
Yeah, let's look around.
Yes.
It's beautiful. A little bit of chiptune for everyone in the audience.
Okay. So I think we're ready to... I want to look at a map for a second. Yeah, we're there. Okay. So we're going to continue on a trail. Okay. So floating down the river is going to be more fun. Like,
It'll
but
be
it's
more
also going
entertaining.
to kill me.
It's higher risk.
But it's high risk. So do I want to win?
Oh, chat. I'm going to start a prediction right now. You guys can vote on this.
Okay, that's good. Like, do I want to win?
Wait,
Which,
do I
if I
set
take the troll road, I think I'm going to win.
No, I don't want to do a prediction. Is there a poll?
But I think if I float, there's a high likelihood I...
Create a new poll. Question. Which one?
So one of my articles that I wrote for general distribution, so not an academic article, but actually it's a blog post in an online magazine. I used an extended metaphor of like riding a bike and how like if we give young people aging out a broken bike, of course they're not going to finish the race and they're going to have a hard time. And what we need to do is give them better bikes. And so I'm actually thinking that now I want to do like an Oregon Trail and aging out.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, click on that button right now. If there's a current poll up in chat, if you click it, you are allowed to pick between Columbia River and Barlow Toll Road. Columbia River is more challenging, but exciting.
Yeah.
Barlow Toll Road, you're probably going to survive till the end. So let's see what chat decides on. It's not that many people voting, so you guys have a lot of control in this. So click that poll button, decide which one. Oh, man.
Can you look and
do
see
I,
what
do I
Chris
get to
says?
vote? I get to vote. Can I
Totally.
change it? Oh no. I can't look at who votes what. I'm sure Chris would be happy to tell you, or he wants to stay anonymous.
I
We'll
know.
see. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, there's a supportive partner, but you also want to challenge them to do something.
exactly.
So,
You want to push your
Yeah,
significant
push.
others
Push to bring
the
out the
boundary of
best.
their comfort.
yeah. It's the supportive relationships.
Oh man.
Makes a difference.
That river has claimed many lives, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is it going to claim one more? So far, Barlow Toll Road is winning. So
Okay.
you might be safe.
It might be safe.
And I don't know how we break a tie. I guess you get to decide. One more person. At least one more should vote on this. Somebody click it. Oh. We got 30 seconds left.
Awesome. Awesome.
It's exciting. Who knew Oregon Trail would be so fun?
Okay, but it was fun when I was in middle school.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Although
And
it
you're-
wasn't middle school. I call it middle school. I was in junior high. I was back in that day. Like,
Yeah. When you included your friends on the list, and it was
Uh-huh.
a tragedy when they died.
And then you made like old man stinky. And,
Oh
like,
man.
Yeah.
Your parents said go to the river.
Mom and dad, thanks.
They didn't actually vote in the poll, but they said do the river. Parents spoke.
Mom and dad just got my back.
So Barlow Toll Road technically won the poll.
But
I
mom
don't
and
know
dad,
I don't know if they voted.
how close was it?
It was yeah, 3-2 on that voting. So it was reasonably close. I'm gonna leave it up to you. I'm gonna say it's 3-3 if your parents voted that way. Oh, they also voted. Okay, so
Okay.
never mind.
Okay,
Toll
so we're
road.
gonna go with the Barlow.
Yep,
Toll Road.
you're doing it.
Mom and dad, we can practice. We can do this later.
Exactly.
this at home.
This is in browser, so
Yeah.
we just searched Oregon Trail Play Online, and it's operating as
Okay.
is. So
100 miles. I gotta make it. I
you
got this.
You have plenty of food.
I died. Oh no. Well, that's really unfortunate.
That's what you get for voting against the river.
I know.
Oh no.
I had
I'm
a
gonna be
quick
so
grasp.
disappointed. Nobody on Ask a Scientist Gaming has completed the Oregon Trail.
I have a broken leg.
It's fine. Rub some dirt on it
I know.
and just keep moving. Oh no.
Okay, but I'm doing okay.
I mean, they're showing up for the gameplay at this point because this is very
This is,
very stressful.
this is like the last.
Wait, let's look at the map. How close are we?
Okay.
Wrong. Losing more days.
Okay, look at the map. I'm like so close.
Sporty Stats suggested you rest. I don't think
That's
you should.
exact-
I think you should push it.
Like the angel. Rest. Don't do it. Rest. Don't do it.
No, Chris, you're a better person than I am.
Okay, I'm gonna rest. And he's gonna say I don't rest enough because he's gonna say you
Oh,
need
yeah.
to rest 5 days. I'm gonna do
You
3
we,
days.
we talked about personal health and
This is my self care. You know what? I'm gonna rest a little bit more. 2 more days.
I mean, you got plenty of food. There's only one of you.
That's right. And I have a broken leg,
Jeez.
so bad water.
We want someone to win on this channel. That's fair.
Yes.
I would love somebody to tell me what the odds of any of this stuff happening. If it's like rubber banding, it gets harder as you get closer, or how they actually program this.
I died. I'm like 62 miles away and I died. Here's Lisa. That's me.
No,
That's okay.
Oh,
What I like
that's
to
a
write
rage.
epitaph. Yeah. What do I want to
We'll
say?
pull it out for you. I don't know. I don't know. You were so young.
I
You had
know.
so much promise.
Oh, why is it not letting me type? I can't type.
Misadventures. Oh, it's this. No, it should be.
It should be this.
No. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It won't save it anyway. So
I was gonna say I hate you, Pinky. That was gonna be my final words.
I'm glad I got to watch you die, Pinky.
Yeah, Pinky, you did me in.
Sporty Stats should have went with the river.
Thanks, Chris.
But Misadventures on the plus side, one less banker.
That's, you know what? There's the plus side. Yeah.
Let's go. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Press enter. Maybe that gets us out.
It's totally frozen.
There's nothing?
So the game broke.
Wow.
When I died, the game broke.
Panicked.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's grieving.
Huh?
Yeah,
Let
it's...
me see. Make full screen. How was that? Wow.
I broke it.
I don't know what happened there. Dead people can't type. Good point. Your parents are on
Yeah, it's very
this
true.
game's so unrealistic.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna restart this and refresh it because I don't know what happened there. Oh man, it's like.
So does that mean I really didn't die? Kind of. Like it maybe.
Oh wait, something.
Okay.
Let's
We're back.
type N. Spacebar to. What is going on? Oh no! All right, we're back to the menu.
Okay.
I think you should try one more.
One more.
It's only 9:30,
Okay.
and we learned a lot from that journey.
Okay.
Did we? I don't know.
We totally did. I totally did. I needed more food. Okay, so I'm gonna put Lisa's first.
I think this time you have to do the river.
I think I'll do the river. Okay,
we
but you're coming along with me, Ken.
Yeah.
So you're there. Let's bring my dog, Big Goober.
All right. I mean, Chris has to go on there.
Okay,
He
Chris.
talked a lot of shit from chat.
Yeah. And what do you call people on Twitch? Are they like Twitchers or anything?
We'll call them Twitchites.
Twitchites.
I don't know what the actual term is. If you guys have any preferences, we're going to call them Twitchites. That's amazing.
Okay.
I've never seen that written out.
Is that how you spell it?
I don't know.
I think so. Okay.
I think I
There we
is
go.
correct. We're doing it.
These names are correct. Yes. Okay. We're going to leave in April.
Misadventure said the correct term is degens.
Oh, I knew that. Someone,
Is that real? I don't actually know.
I was introduced to the concept today.
That's fun. So did you talk to your students about being on Twitch at all?
I did. And then
What
I
did they have
talked
to
to
say?
someone who works in my hallway who like actually like really games and does stuff. And he was the only person that, in my world that I said Twitch. And he's like, oh yeah. And then he like said things. I was like, no, you know more than I do. So like,
You already lost me.
yeah, like I understand the English language kind of, but not at that level.
That's fair. Every area has its specialty.
Yeah. Isn't it cool to think about like how much is out there that like there are people that maybe it's not that they're playing Oregon Trail, but that they are completely spending their weekends like doing things that like I don't even know exist out
Becoming the world's foremost expert in something.
Right.
And being the best. And
Right.
that's one of the things, like, especially like speed running is something I appreciate. Like, people will talk shit about it like a useless skill, blah, blah, blah. As long as they're happy, they're not hurting anyone, and they're enjoying life.
Totally.
Like, who are you to judge that pursuit? Because
Totally.
somebody has the passion to go to the lengths, the ends of knowledge in an area and expertise. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, 102 miles.
Okay. Look at our health is good.
I mean, maybe slow down pace later. I don't know. Do you start it in April again? Is that
Started in April.
All right.
I did okay with weather.
I think if Pinky hadn't drowned in the river, maybe.
I think it was bad ghost energy.
And it's something like 1 in 6 where you tip over or something like that. I don't know what the exact numbers are. The safe route.
Yep. Spend money.
All right, while we're diving into this next round, one of my favorite questions on stream, because I get a lot of diversity and expertise, but I'm also a movie lover. Besides video games, I watch a whole lot of movies. I've rated 6,000 plus on Letterboxd, which is, yeah, that's one of my special pursuits. But you've seen representations of your expertise, whether this is social work or foster care in movies and TVs. Sometimes you see it and you're like, that is terrible. Sometimes you see it like, holy shit, that captured things well. So what are the goods and the bads? What are the ends of the spectrum that you stood out to you when you've seen them?
So I think that one of my favorite movies that depicts maltreatment that happens across the child's lifespan, and how social workers get involved, and how systems and teachers and everyone has a role to play, is really the movie Precious.
Precious. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's an intense movie, for those of you who have never seen it, and definitely not child appropriate. This is it has some really adult content, although it's all around child maltreatment. And yeah, so I think that's a great movie. I also think that there's a lot of movie.
So before going
Yeah.
on to that one, like in Precious, are there good characters that are represented well? Like who's doing their job well? Like there's a teacher that's confrontational. Is that a good thing? Like,
So I think the teacher like holds Precious to standards. Oh, the dog's getting tired. That's unfortunate. So the teacher does well, the first teacher doesn't. The first teacher is like basically you're pregnant, and for those of you who are not familiar with the story,
spoilers.
the spoiler is that she's pregnant with her second child as a teenager, and both children are the result of incest, that her father has raped her. And so the first teacher has like no compassion, and she's pregnant and wants to kick her out of the school, and she goes to a second school, and it's that teacher it's an absolute gem of a person who sees Precious for who she is, and is really trauma informed. So what I see in trauma informed, so the key of being trauma informed is that someone is not looking at what the behavior is, rather, and saying like what's wrong with you, but like what happened to you. So like what's behind this behavior. And so I see that with Precious, that oops, I didn't want to do that. I want to do filling. Yes. I wanted to buy supplies, which is 9. I want to buy food. Let's do 100 pounds. Okay. So that teacher like is trauma informed and really wins over Precious's trust. And then the social worker, you see the case manager who really doesn't do a great job, and doesn't really hold the mother accountable. And there's a lot going on, but then there's some space towards the end of the movie that you're like, oh, like the social worker was functioning in the system, and this new social worker is actually making a difference. Oh, Ken, you have a broken arm. I'm sorry. I'll tell you what, we're going to lose 4 days, and that gave us some rest, and your health is back up to good.
Good.
You're
Let's
good.
do it.
Yeah, good job. Good healing. I knew you were resilient. So Precious would be the movie that I would say, if you want to understand child maltreatment and look at aging out and adolescence and care, that would be a phenomenal example, and how adults can make a difference.
Nice. All right. Who gets it wrong, or any other movie you want to talk about that stood out to you?
So, Good Will Hunting and Antoine Fisher are
Antoine Fisher. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So what's great about both of these movies, and I won't go into all their stories, because I do think it's important to like, if you look at them through a child maltreatment lens, it's completely different. That both of them had significant child maltreatment and childhood traumas, and so you see the long-term impact of maltreatment. So that's something that I think they also get pretty right. Is that you see that it's not that's just childhood things are complicated with when there's maltreatment, but this can absolutely span across a person's entire life.
I mean, it rewrites your DNA. Like
It
recent studies that have shown
it,
that.
It really does. It changes the length of your telomeres, and absolutely, and yes,
It's long-term implications.
Absolutely.
Even in
and
your
it's
offspring,
intergenerational.
it's crazy.
So so we are often dealing with this, if maltreatment had happened in previous generations, it's also impacting. So yeah,
And so that captures it well.
yeah.
I mean, Good Will Hunting has come up a lot, from mathematicians to economists to social work now. So yeah, what a great movie.
Yeah.
Shout out to Robin Williams.
I
Pour one
know.
out. Cheers
I
to
know.
Robin.
I love him.
All right. So who gets it wrong? I'm going to go with Annie.
Yeah.
So
Annie would be there.
less musical.
Well, so where I actually think, Big Goober, we're gonna rest for you because you got to know I love my dog, and he's a big goober.
But you got to think of the whole team.
We're gonna just rest the moment.
All
Our
right.
life is better because of Goober. He's a teacup mastiff. He's 103 pounds, and makes life better for everyone around him, minus the slobber, but that's part of his the joy of him. So I also think that there's so many movies that I would say, it really is about child maltreatment, but we don't even think of it like that. So the movie Matilda, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so she's being ritualistically tortured by a witch who's the principal. And yet when you actually look at her family of origin and her parents, they are really neglectful and abusive. And so, but the problem is that we see this movie as a children's movie, and it is anything but.
Yeah, it's
So like
dark.
that's where I see most things is like that people, like even with some of these superhero movies, like the origin stories have so much childhood trauma and abuse and neglect, and we don't really talk about that. And so it's not just that we are getting it wrong, or like the movie's getting it wrong, we as the viewers are getting it wrong. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, we take the wrong message from
Yeah.
it. Like it's celebrated when really it's a tragedy.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I hadn't thought of Matilda, but man, that is dark. But you celebrate at the end because she finds the right home and whatnot.
Right.
But I mean, she's also damaged and traumatized from decades.
So, and her telekinesis, we can be like, oh, that's cute. She has magical powers. And that's very much within the way of Roald Dahl. Oh, no, you have cholera, Ken.
It's not dysentery. I'm
Okay,
cool.
you're good.
I'm good.
You're good. Hydrate, you'll be fine. Let's just hope we don't get bad water. And yet we can also look at that movie and be like, well, is she really magic, or is she
Delusional. Yeah,
and this is
yeah.
a mental health crisis? And
Wow.
so there's another way of looking at these. I can suck all of the joy about many movies
Oh,
when I
man.
apply my
Well, one
my
that did that
professional
really
lens.
well is Pan's Labyrinth. I don't know if you ever saw
Yes.
that one.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
You don't know whether it was a delusion or whether it was real.
Right.
And then looking through Matilda through that lens is a very
Yep.
different story. So
Yep.
holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh man, what else can I think of? Oliver Twist, the
Right,
British,
right.
like laughable scenario. One of the more recent ones though is controversial is the Blind Side. So it's not formalized foster care, but
Yes.
how do you
Well, and
feel
that's
about that?
controversial for many reasons.
Yeah. So let's take the independent story of the movie alone, assuming that was true.
Okay.
Does that capture a productive, good foster system?
No, I would argue not. So we want caring parents, but there was some real white saviorism in there.
Yeah.
And so we haven't touched on this about, and it's a little sensitive to talk about, especially in the state of Florida right now. But there is a real problem with racial disparities and disproportionalities. So what we see with disparities is like a difference in outcomes, and if by race. And so we need to make sure that all of the children who are experiencing maltreatment and end up in foster care have similar outcomes. And that's simply not the case. We know that African American children are more likely to languish in care, to be slower to reunify, and have a whole host of like other poorer outcomes. And the differences, both in the outcomes. Oh, Chris, hydrate, you'll be fine. Oh, I should stop. I'm gonna kill my husband by accident. I'm
Cheers,
gonna
Chris.
rest.
Have a drink. Hopefully,
Yeah.
have a beer in hand.
Yeah, you're good. You'll be fine. 5 days of rest. That's all you get. So now I lost my train of thought with it. Very little water.
Yeah, we were talking about the blind side,
The blind side.
disproportionate outcomes.
White saviorism, and like so. But there also is some of this issue that goes on is that we often are removing children who are Black and poor, and the foster parents that are available are white and middle class, and so in some ways it does get together like some of the issues, but I don't love how the blind side ends up playing out. Although I also know the real life story and some of the accusation. It's really hard to disaggregate that for me.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess you could shed some light on that, the difference between a conservatorship and a adoption.
Yeah, so there's different types of permanency, and that's as people are leaving foster care. So they can be reunified with their families, and the common ones are the reunification with their families, or that they can be adopted, or they can be put in a guardianship. Those are the main ones we see. So that's the other thing about the blind side is like I've known a lot of children. That's not an outcome that I've ever seen. And so like that also gets complicated, and it's actually a legal status that I don't even fully understand. But permanency in child welfare can be really complicated. We sometimes have children who are in homes where their foster parents would like to adopt them, and they could be in a kinship placement. So they could be living with an aunt or uncle or cousin or sibling or grandparent, and the person who is the caregiver, so whoever the foster parent in that kinship arrangement, is willing to adopt them, and yet because of the child's connection to their parents, and because the family, you know, the grandparents, the cousin, the aunt, uncle, whoever knows the parents, they don't want to pursue the termination of parental rights. I need to look at the map. Okay, so we're going to do the dolls, right? Yes.
Yep. I think that's what we did last time, right?
I think so. So yeah, so the blind side, but what it is in common, like what I do see is like it gets it right, is like the adjustment period for children who are in care, and the fact that the Twitchites are not doing well. You have dysentery again.
Take that, Twitch.
I know. So in that regard, they do get some of the things right. Yeah, but there's hardly a movie out there that I can't apply social work and often child welfare perspectives to.
Oh, that's a good point. I mean, anytime there's a child involved, like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, and I focus on child welfare, but like we can look at, you know, veterans are a population a lot of social workers work with. Those who are aging. Okay, we're gonna float. Oh my gosh, I didn't hunt this time. I just kept buying food.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Should we do a Twitch prediction on this before you start?
Yeah, Mom and Dad, can you please believe in me?
Will Lisa make it?
Okay, you can put in the chat yes and vote however you want, Mom and Dad. It's okay.
I can see how they voted.
Yeah, it's all good.
Lisa make it? Don't start yet. We're going to give them a minute. So you guys have a minute to say yes or no on this one. Will Lisa make it down the river? Those of you not familiar, if she crashes on the river, her whole party dies and the game is over. If she makes it, it's basically I think it is the end, right? It goes to the end there. All right, we're going to give you guys 1 minute to vote on whether Lisa's going to make this or not based on her gameplay.
And remember, you're on the boat with me too, because you're Twitchites.
You saw some pretty good Pac-Man. Like, you're just avoiding rocks here. So how hard can it be? Learn to swim, Dr. Schelbe.
So one of my sisters recently gave me this advice. When I say what's the worst could happen or like what could possibly go wrong, that I need to stop immediately when I'm doing and reevaluate and go in a different direction. Because if there's not a potential for things to go drastically wrong, you don't stop and say what's the worst that can happen. So yeah.
Oh man.
It's good life advice.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
They're pretty optimistic right now. We'll see if we got some
Nice.
sporty stat says, do you have your regulator?
Yeah. Oh, so I'm a rescue diver. So I scuba dive and I'm a
Oh
rescue
wow,
diver.
you're trained.
So
Holy
yeah.
crap.
So yeah, which it's not it is a great skill in many regards, but it's not something that you can barter. Like
I was gonna say it's not casually useful.
Right. So like when people are like, oh, I'm a massage therapist, I can barter a massage for just about anything. It's like, okay, so I'm a rescue diver, so like I can take you to some deep water and throw you in and then rescue you. But like, that's not cool.
No,
like,
what you need to go is to go to Frisbee golf courses and just stand by the lake and say, do you need me to recover your disc?
oh my God, I hadn't thought of that.
Alternative career path.
There we go. I could probably do that in golf courses too with
Yeah, exactly.
golf balls. Yeah.
All right, 95%. We have pretty confident. Yes,
You do?
Lisa will make it. You got it. You
Thanks.
got this. Let's do
I
it.
don't think I do, but we'll see.
Oh man, Cuddle Puppy. There's a lot of movies where social workers romance their clients.
Oh, yes.
Oh man, what's a movie? I can't think of one off the top of my head. Cuddle Puppy, if you have an example, not from Brazers. If you guys have an example, put those in chat while Lisa takes on the rocks of the river. I think you can crash a few times, right?
I don't think you can.
Is it all or nothing?
I'm pretty sure it's an all or nothing.
Got this.
Oh,
Okay. Down, big goober. You're still alive, though.
sorry. Okay. I lost
Cuddle Puppy said 50-50 and The Departed. Both examples. The hitboxes on this are not very straightforward.
Okay. We're doing okay. Okay.
How long is this? I don't even remember.
I'm like, I feel like this is longer. Like,
Stressful. Got them NARC hitboxes? Absolutely in Misadventures. That is the appropriate reference. I love that there's no sound. It's just like
I know.
you in the boat.
it's just your heartbeat in your ears. That's what it should be. It's like thudding of your heart.
Stress.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I missed it. After my hunting, I think that there was a reason that I would have died.
Because you have to like hit stop, right? It goes one direction until you tap the other way.
Yep.
If I'm remembered correctly. I wonder how much of this is RNG, just like random where the rocks land. Sometimes you just get screwed.
Yeah. Oh, look at those skid marks. Someone died there. Wait, I missed the
Oh.
landing?
Well, I mean, you just lost clothes and wagon wheel. That's
Okay, so where am I supposed to go now? I made it.
is that.
Congratulations. I made it to Oregon.
Holy crap!
How
We
many
did it,
points?
ladies and gentlemen. GG's.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
so only 2 people died.
Okay, 3 people are in poor health. So
Poor health is still
the
alive.
Twitchites, Chris and I are alive.
Awesome.
Poor health.
Me and Goober.
We're basically
Not so
naked
well.
because we have no clothing left. We have a wagon and 3 oxen. And you know what?
You got a lot of bullets.
Yeah.
You got a lot of
lot of
bullets. Down here
Yeah.
in San Francisco.
Yeah. Yeah. There we go.
Holy crap.
I
GG's.
made the top score. I know it's just fake.
Well, how
There
many
we go.
points did you get? What was your score?
Around 900 something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Look at me.
We did it, ladies and
Congratulations.
gentlemen. We beat the Oregon Trail. All right, you're a greenhorn. Broke 1,000. We count that.
Totally.
I mean, you didn't make 10,000 Pac-Man, but you made 1,000.
But you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it.
People survived. Congratulations. So we're going to choose an outcome. Will Lisa make it? The answer is yes. Congratulations. The optimists win. The doubters lose. Misadventures voted against you.
It's okay.
Don't take it personally.
Misadventures, I would have bet against me too. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Congratulations. The first win of Oregon Trail. You did it.
You saw it here live.
Yeah, exactly. This is on YouTube forever.
Yeah, that's right.
Take that, Chris, and all your doubt.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to work this into my fees, which is the way Florida State tracks our CVs, our curriculum vitae, all of our accomplishments.
Like our post-tenure review. How can they fire you?
Oh my gosh, how could they? I survived the Oregon Trail.
All right, what do you want to go with next? What should we play? So we have a couple more arcade games. Let me get this up.
I mean, Space Invaders is always fun.
Let's do it. It's 10 o'clock already. So you got about a half hour.
While you're having fun.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to do Space Invaders.
You're really bad at Miss Pac-Man.
It doesn't matter. We're having a good time.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for Space Invaders. So you're going to do arcade joystick, and I'm going to get you some quarters soon.
Perfect.
We'll get you guys up. You can see this the original Space Invaders for the arcade game. So yeah, we're going to put those up. Man, congratulations. That is satisfying. The question is, if you did the river the first time, would you have made it? I think you might have, right? Man, your parents were right.
I know.
It's hard to admit at 49, but
no, it's not. It's not. I'm really lucky that I have parents, and like that's one of the things that when I actually present my research, I talk about like, just think about going through life and not having family that are supportive, and not having people that you can rely on, that help with like all of the things, not just my parents bailed me out when I helped me figure out how to get a lease, how to buy furniture, gave me old furniture, like so
it's cumulative. Oof, that is terrible. I hope the volume's not too loud for you guys. If it is, let me know. I'll adjust accordingly, because those alien ships going over the top. Man, there was a statistic I saw that was astounding. It's something like 70% of Americans couldn't scrape together $5,000 in a moment's need.
No, it's $500.
Is it $500?
$500.
Holy crap.
$500 is enough to basically cause significant stress for most American families.
I mean, so that is insane. That is.
And I mean, just think about like if you were in Tallahassee and you're trying to get into an apartment and you need first and last month's rent as a security deposit, and just think about like how much money you have to save up for that.
Oh no, Lori said the spaceship woke my dog up. Oh. Do I need to turn it down? Is that too loud? I'll do it for the sake of your dog. That's okay. It didn't have the fate of Goober, so it's okay. It just woke up.
It's still alive.
Didn't die. Wasn't eaten.
But did you die?
No one died of dysentery, though. I don't think, right?
I don't think so. You got we had dysentery and cholera.
Goober is also interested in the spaceship. All right, Misadventures in Astro had a comment here. Sorry, Misadventures, I missed it. I recently listened to a podcast interview with someone that got thrown into the foster system at a young age in Kansas. At one point, they were living on their own at like 14. It was super fascinating. And they said, "Oh, Dr. Schelbe, you should check out the podcast that touches on some of those issues with foster care." It says, the Nipsey Hussle of St. Louis on what it really takes to make it in the hoods, better featuring prop. That is a title.
I would love to check that out.
I will. I'll
make sure to get that direct title.
It's a podcast.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Kansas is a really fascinating state with child welfare. So they are looking at permanency and looking at broader than just some of what we're talking about. Like, so they are actually making space. Remember how I talked about how sometimes people don't want to have their parental rights, and that's why they're not adopted. So they're also looking in Kansas about something that's called what's it called? Soul family, and looking at people at commitments that family or adults can make to children who are aging out or adolescents in the foster care system that provide a commitment, so that it's that the young
Oh,
people
interesting.
know that they have someone there. So it's
So it's not formal adoption, but it's some kind of
Yep.
of mentorship or
Yep.
formalized legal. That's interesting. So state by state, if you had to like, what's the best state for foster care? What's the worst? Do you have that off the top of your head?
well, I would say if I was wanting to be in foster care, I'd want to be in Vermont.
Interesting.
So they have a really tight program, and it also has the benefit of being a very small state, and so it's connected, it's well resourced. So I think Vermont has a lot of great stuff, but I have to be honest, Florida has some really great stuff going on. Pennsylvania, where I did some dissertation work, really has a lot of really forward thinking about child welfare. Where I see places, it's not even like I mean, there's states, but like some of the really rural communities are so under-resourced. And, there's a child, if they are removed from their parents, there may not be foster parents available in the county, so that they can't even stay in the county. And so if they're trying to stay in the same school, it could be like a 2-hour drive each morning. So there's like some real limitations up in rural communities, and that also translates in rural states. So, states like Arkansas, Alabama, that are under-resourced broadly, even West Virginia. So it's not dissimilar to when you look at states' education systems. That's sometimes a decent proxy for how invested people are in children.
Lori had a follow-up. Ooh, I want to do that. I'm not in a financial place to support foster, but I would totally mentor them.
So this sounds like a humble brag, but it's just fact.
We'll take it.
Right? So one of my books that I wrote, I follow the lives of 5 young people who are aging out of care for almost 2 years. And I conduct 1,000 hours of observation, and I conduct almost 100 interviews. And I conclude with a book that's a chapter that's called Call to Action. And what I basically look at is that there is
Which book is this?
It's called Some Type of Way.
Some Type
It's
of Way.
Oxford University Press. And I want to say it came out in 2001.
Okay.
But if you just Google Some Type of Way, and it even has a digital download, so it's not very expensive as a book, and a lot of public libraries have it, so you don't even have to buy it. But I conclude with this call to action, and it talks about, like, there's so many things that the public can do, and it talks about, like, okay, you may not be able to sign up to be a foster parent, but could you provide respite care? Could you get trained as a foster parent and be willing to provide respite care for a child that's having a hard time, or a family that goes on vacation? Or, if you think about, like, families have crises, right? And so maybe
Just
the
a
family
short term.
has needs to go to a funeral in Scotland, and so they don't want the child to go back to foster care, but they need to be gone for 3 weeks, or sometimes a long weekend. And so there's opportunities. Like, yes, you can be a foster parent, but if you can't do that, can you be a respite care provider? If you can't do that, can you be a mentor? Can you go out to lunch with a young person in foster care? Can you go to a group home, which is a facility that is not foster care, like in a family setting, but in a group setting? Can you go over, and have a game night and be a volunteer and spend time with young people? Can you also help families that are reunifying and be, a parent advocate? But can you also just do child maltreatment prevention by trying to make sure that families have the support they need? And I argue that, like, I'm not going to be the one to tell you what you and your family are going to be best at doing. You're going to know. Like, You know, if you have an extra bedroom, you know that if you are really good at fundraising, can you work with your church, a church or a religious organization, and do a fundraiser? When children go into foster care, sometimes in different child welfare systems, now Florida's pretty good, but in some of them, children's belongings are just put in garbage bags. Do you know what that does to your psyche? If all of your earthly possessions
That's brutal.
are thrown into a black trash bag, like there's no dignity and respect there. So could you work with your church or your company and do a fundraiser to buy luggage? There's a group in Florida that fundraises, and so that every child that goes into foster care gets a stuffed animal. So you know, they're leaving all their toys behind, they're leaving pets behind, but they get to choose, you know, if they get a teddy bear or a stuffed kitten or whatnot. Like, so I think there are so many ways that if you have time, that's great. If you have money, that's great. If you have connections, that's great. And just using whatever you have. And there is a need for all of us to do things. So I'm really excited that you're like, well, I couldn't foster parent, but I could do that. That is the mentality that if we do, we are helping young people and we are helping children and families out. And we are preventing poor outcomes around child maltreatment.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Lori, thank you for your willingness to serve, and apparently there's many ways to do it. There's a link to the book on Amazon if you want to check it out. Sporty Stat said it's available through FSU Library. In fact, most academic institutions probably can get access to it. But yeah, check it out. That's pretty awesome. I mean, I think most people don't know that exists. One of my favorite things, there's a tradition at a hockey game where at the after the first goal, they throw stuffed animals on the ice and they get donated to foster care. I love that.
I know, it's not fun.
Amazing. It's like thousands of stuffed animals in an instant, and the crowd just loves it. Like you just see this cascading throw of stuffed animals to the ice, and they spend a couple minutes collecting them, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like it. All right, how's Space Invaders treating you?
I think not as good as Oregon Trail. Probably it's probably I'm getting killed more.
It's better or worse than Pac-Man?
I think I'm getting killed more than Pac-Man.
This is a hard game.
Yeah.
Sporty Stats has requested a factoid.
Oh, you want a factoid?
I have a fun factoid for you guys from this game. So I learned this from Julian Grasso, who's a music theorist who goes on who's been on this stream, and she studies video game music. Turns out this is the first game with a soundtrack. A diegetic soundtrack. And so what that means is there have been a lot of games that the sounds are associated with the game. The argument is this one has an independent soundtrack, and the soundtrack is that beat you hear, that rhythm.
Yeah.
So it has a rhythm associated with it. That rhythm changes as they move faster and faster. And so it is a musical soundtrack. And the argument is because they're in space, that is not a diegenic sound, which means the creatures that are in the game cannot hear it, but we can. And so this is the first soundtrack ever associated with a video game, according to that argument. Yeah. The other fun factoid about this is the reason it speeds up is not because it was designed that way in the game. They didn't design this as a mechanic. Instead, it's because the memory, you only have so many characters on the screen later, so the processing power becomes stronger. And so you don't need to move as many characters. That's why they move faster.
Oh, fun. So I thought they were out to get me.
No, it was an accidental discovery when they made this. So yeah, fun fact on that. But sorry, give them a factoid about your expertise.
So the cost. So young people aging out of foster care, and we've talked about the conservative estimate is 20,000. My estimate of calculation is closer to 200,000. And when we look at that, you can be like, well, that's a lot of kids. But what we don't think about is like how much that's costly. So we know that they have poor outcomes across multiple domains. So there's 8 of them. Let's see if I can count them all without using my fingers because I'm space invadering
while I'm doing it.
Right.
Sorry, I should have to press start.
No, it's all good. So, and I do this all the time, so I should be able to do this. So housing, employment, education, health, mental health, substance use, criminal justice and juvenile justice involvement, and early parenting. And that is all 8. So we know that they have these poor outcomes. And when you look at those outcomes are pretty costly to society. So a very well-funded study that is we all cite it, says that the cost per young person who ages out and so is not reunified and doesn't achieve permanency is $300,000. So start multiplying that by how many young people are aging out. And in the study, they use different calculations. And they say per cohort of young people aging out annually in the US that it's about $8 billion. And over a decade, it's $226 billion. And so those costs are looking at the fact of those outcomes. So having children early in life, getting involved in the criminal justice system, having mental health problems, poor academics, leading to lower employment opportunities, lower tax bases, poor civil engagement. All of this is connected, and it costs society. So while it's a very small population, even if you take it up to 180 or 200,000, it's pretty small, but it's really costly, which is why it's really cool that our legislators in Florida and elsewhere, even at the federal government, are acknowledge this and invest in young people aging out of care.
All right, so that's a positive note.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so related to that, and you don't have to dive into this if you don't want to, but there's this very casual, like, okay, somebody gets raped and they are forced to have a kid versus an abortion. I mean, there's a cost in that. I mean, they portray this as just put them up for adoption as if that's an easy process. I mean, do you have this dialogue? Like, that's the foundational cause of a lot of these unwanted kids, unfortunately.
So I don't think it's that simple. I think that it's a really it's dangerous rhetoric to say that these are children that are unwanted, that's causing this problem. I think that what we're actually seeing, and remember how I talked about how neglect plays such a major role, that there's often systemic issues that are going on. But I would even relate that to why that we have sexual assaults and that we have gender inequality, we have misogyny, like we have these underlying issues that end up being very, very, very costly to society. And then we end up blaming, the mother who was assaulted and can't do this. So yes, those are and the fact that some of my work is with young people who are aging out who are parents. And we could talk more about that. Maybe we even wanted to do one of those predictions.
Yeah, predictions.
It's not simple. As much as we have invested in child maltreatment and child maltreatment prevention research, at the end of the day, we do not fully understand what causes it, and we do not fully understand how to prevent it. Or predict it, but
That's fair. Ooh, that was aggressive real quick.
Yeah, they got me.
No worries. Yeah. We'll start you again.
I love that they turn to little green aliens and get you.
When they start going through the barricades. Yeah. I like it. Yeah. Cuddle Puppy, it's been a long time since I've heard anyone praise the Florida government. I mean, rightfully so. Oh, sorry, it's not going. There we go. Did I press 2-player? I hope I didn't.
No,
we'll see.
Just me.
We'll see what happens here. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, we got about 45 minutes left in the stream. Lisa Schelbe is talking about foster care, talking about, child transition from foster care to the real world or college or whatever it may be, and what impact that has on outcomes and things like that. While playing Space Invaders, I got to change the title. We are on to Space Invaders. We also beat Oregon Trail, which is pretty satisfying. Okay, so we did a qualitative comparison of various different states in the United States. So your research, I mean, you've discovered a lot. You're writing books about it. I mean, it's you talked about cultural parameters that go into it. Yep. So is your research exclusively important to the United States, or is it broadly applicable to everywhere else in the world?
So so aging out is an issue that we experience across the globe, and I actually. Am loosely involved with a group that I couldn't even tell you what the acronym stands for, but INTRAC, that looks at those who are everywhere else in the U.S. Than the U.S. calls it care leavers. In the U.S. we call it aging out. So care leaving is a really hot topic, especially there's a lot of concern about this, and in Europe, and in Australia. But we're increasingly seeing that even though, here's the other thing. We have an established child welfare system, but there are many countries that actually don't have an established child welfare system. So like they don't have a care leavers problems because they don't have care, right?
Yeah.
Which is a whole nother level of issues. So my work, because I believe so much is, well, because we know so much is context specific, yes, I am very clear about my work is focused on the U.S. My most recent book, which is Foster Parent Collaboration, and it's looking at how social workers collaborate with foster parents to improve child outcomes. I co-authored it with a Canadian practitioner, Amanda Preston, who is as close as you're ever going to find to a living saint, and she's just amazing.
Shout out to Amanda.
Yeah, Amanda's phenomenal.
Awesome.
She has, I think, 7 adopted children. All are medically have medically complex, and she has started 2 national organizations around foster care in Canada. She's the real deal. It is such an honor to work with her. But we wrote a book that is relevant to the UK, Canada, and the US. And so we did a lot of examples across the cultures. But there are differences. Notable differences. So when I talk about aging out, my focus is always on the U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is potentially applicable elsewhere. And so we rated states. If we had to rate countries, my guess would be like Scandinavian countries have very good social welfare and social nets. Who's the best? Who's the worst?
So
if you had to adopt a system or you chose a system to implement in the U.S., which one would it be?
What's interesting is like I actually think the U.S., if we fully implemented our policies and we were fully functional and we didn't have to churn at the child welfare system, I think we'd be like top 3. But
when you say churn in that case, that's personnel?
Personnel.
Oh, okay.
So like
the people that are staff.
The turnover of the child welfare professionals.
I see. So if they got paid more, this would probably be solved.
Oh my gosh, how long can I play Space Invaders? I can talk about that all night.
Another 10 minutes.
So I won't go into this in depth. Some of my colleagues work at Florida State University and are associated at the Florida Institute for Child Welfare, which is housed at the College of Social Work at Florida State, looks at worker retention. And while we think it's about
it's not pay.
That actually is not. Remember, social workers, we didn't get into it for the money. We weren't coming in for the payload.
So they knew.
But it's the dealing with some of the bureaucracy, dealing with the inadequate staffing so that the workload gets to be too great. Our caseloads are too great in the state of Florida because we have such turnover, which means that we get more turnover because people are leaving. So it's a real thing, but it's actually not as much pay as you would think it is.
I mean, how's the prevalence of like emotional burnout, like people that just can't?
I think it's 100%. And I think that people come back from it, and that I'm very impressed with what Florida Institute for Child Welfare, or we call it FICWA for short, and what DCF is trying to do to improve worker well-being. And for those of you, like the comment of like, you don't hear a lot of good things about the state of Florida, like this is really hard work. And like, yeah, I am singing Florida's praises because I think that the Florida legislature is investing $11 million annually in the Florida Institute for Child Welfare to improve how child welfare is provided and better prepare the workforce. And that is not happening elsewhere in the U.S. So I can jump on the bandwagon of like, gosh, things are really rough in Florida. Things are miserable. There's so many things wrong. But when I'm objectively looking at child welfare,
it's pretty good.
It's a lot worse elsewhere, and I see it's very promising. And we have people on both sides of the aisle who care about this.
That's awesome.
So this is bipartisan support for children and families,
and they're putting their money where their mouth is. They're actually investing in it, which is not a common thing. So that's great. So U.S. system is pretty good.
So it is pretty good. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff that's going on in Australia. with Indigenous children. So for those of you who are not aware, Indigenous children are overrepresented not only in the United States in the child welfare system, but in just basically any country that has an Indigenous population. And this is something that Australia and Canada, to a lesser extent, have a very well, and definitely the United States, have a very poor track record of what we have done with Indigenous children over the years. And Australia's working with Aging Out and Indigenous communities is really inspiring to me about culturally appropriate ways of honoring the culture and not, the colonization, basically. So I think there's these things that go on. I was like, well, I like that. I'd pull from that if we would be pulling things in from different welfare states.
So it's aspects of each that would be beneficial. Okay, so the other extreme, you mentioned there are some countries that just do not have any kind of foster care. What I mean, just
yeah. So we have some, and I won't be able, and because these actually do change, and I haven't looked up the data in the last couple of years because I'm not teaching. So, but we do have some Middle Eastern and African countries that do not have a formal child welfare system. So that means, we have a child welfare hotline. So if any adult in the state of Florida is a mandated reporter by nature of being over 18, if you know that there is maltreatment, you are required to report it.
And you're legally culpable if you don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, is there a police that's going to come and hold you responsible? No. But you are responsible for reporting. And a lot of people don't know that. They think that only doctors, teachers are mandated reporters. It is broader than that. So we have someone to call, but there are countries that there's no one to call. If a child is being hurt. And in some communities, it's well, you could go to the elders in the community and that they may take some informal action or depending on how the community is organized, that there may be some sort of response that the community has done, but it's not state funded and there's no resources. And so, that's scary for me, that that there's no one to call for help.
Yeah. And then what happened? I guess there's no interventions and just did
so all of the
going to happen.
So the interventions end up happening idiosyncratically. The good nature of people, or what we see in some of these countries is that children don't have any rights. And there's no help. And so, and then we also see that even when there are child welfare systems in states, in countries, and nation states, where there is a conflict, like a civil conflict, like civil war, or a natural disaster, or what we sometimes call complex disasters, where there's a civil conflict and a natural disaster, the systems just fall apart. And so even if there is something, functionally there is nothing. So it's there's a lot of work to be done in the US, and yet we can also say that we're doing okay. We're doing okay.
Yeah, we're
doing okay. And that is, I do have colleagues, not so much at FSU. We don't have a lot of people that believe in abolitionists of that I talked about of burning it down and starting over. But that's where I'm we're doing some things right, and it's not perfect.
Yeah.
But we are protecting children, and we are helping families and improving our communities.
That's awesome. It's an optimistic note.
It is.
And so a question related to that, and this is one we ask every single guest, and this becomes very interesting given your topical area, but unlimited budget, no moral qualms, what experiment would you do? And so I could envision this taking two different extremes for you, and I'll vocalize one because I don't expect you to. We could figure out what causes damage by inducing it, right? And actually studying that. Alternatively, we could implement your ideal system and see positive outcomes. What would you like to see?
Okay, so this is no morals, right?
Yep, no morals. This is on the record as this is entirely a thought experiment. No moral qualms, unlimited budget. What would you do?
Okay, so this this is as a scientist, not as a practitioner. What I do is you go in to the hospital to have a baby. You have a baby and you come home with a baby, and the baby may or may not be yours.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've randomized children into families.
Nature versus nurture, got it.
Right. And we then also randomize the resources that family gets.
Oh, interesting.
So we've taken away the genetics, and we've also changed the. Now, is this something that like Lisa Schelbe really wants to endorse? No. Would it make a great movie? Yeah.
I mean, I'll take it one step further, because Sarah Hart talked about this. She does a lot of twin studies.
Yeah.
So have quintuplets, separate them.
Yep.
Then you truly control for genetics, and then you distribute it across.
Yeah.
And you just want to see outcomes. You want to know how much is intrinsic to a child versus the environment.
Right.
I mean, it's intriguing.
Well, it's the family, like really, like I really want to know like the family.
much does it matter?
And I also think that there is an element. I don't know. Like the other thing is that I think that there's also an interesting experiment to be had about if children don't belong to a family. And sorry, mom and dad, I love you, want to be there, but like, what would it be if there was more communal responsibility to children?
I see.
And
Of
so,
an actual village raising.
right, it was an actual village,
Yeah.
and like you cared just as much as the little people in your house, as you did for the little people that aren't in your house. Yeah.
I mean, so the general rule of thumb, at least the psychologist I talk to, is it's a 50% nature versus nurture. But that's not universally true. Like height is a whole lot of nature, right? It's like 80% or something like that. And then,
But with nutrition,
yeah,
it's not, yeah.
but for the most part,
Yeah.
like it's pretty predictable in terms of like you can correct for that. But something like the religion someone is almost entirely nurture,
Yep.
right? And not religiosity, but the particular flavor of religion.
Yep.
And so if you had to guess like outcomes from foster care, nature versus nurture, where would you put that number? And that's a really hard question, and I realize that.
Yeah.
Does that come at 50-50, or is it something
So
else?
what's interesting is like I would actually think that there is some research that's sort of looking at this. So when we're looking at foster care, we're looking at maltreatment. We're often looking at adverse childhood experiences, or what we call ACEs. And my guess is that with the number of psychologists that you've had, someone's bound to have talked about ACEs. So there's these 10 different ways that are measured that we know create poor outcomes and health behaviors and health. And I wouldn't be able to. This is the problem with me not being in the classroom because I'm not lecturing on this each semester, and so I'm a little rusty.
Yeah, no worries.
And my bigger fear is just that I misquote, and then someone's like, well, that's not important. But like it increased, like we look at the increased rates of suicidality. We look at the increased rates of like mental health. We look at at-risk behaviors. And so like, I actually think that they're like, if we're thinking about foster care, I think that I'd want to go back and look at it as a child maltreatment. And we do have some evidence that it's a lot about the environment and what they were exposed to.
I mean, I think you kind of have that control experiment, right? You compare general populace versus foster kids, and the numbers are not proportional, right?
Yep.
And if it was completely random, it should be proportional to some degree, and it's just simply not.
Yeah.
All right, we are at 10:30.
Already.
Are you ready for this?
I am
This
ready
time?
for this.
After a whole lot of heavy conversations.
I know. I'm loving it.
But it's been a lot of fun discussing. It's not necessarily fun subject matter, which makes it a hard.
But it may not be fun, but like it doesn't have to be hopeless.
Well, I mean, so that's the other hard part is it's such a dogmatic position to not want to talk about these things, right? Where we're destigmatizing it might be part of the success story of like how you actually deal with these issues.
Right.
And so I'm perfectly content talking about it, and guess I'm a heartless robot to some extent, but this is things we need to bring up and discuss. So I appreciate
No,
the
it is
conversation.
true.
All right. Do you want to see the clock or do you not want to see the clock? Do you want that pressure? Or
Sure.
not?
It's a, so I have very low expectations for myself in gaming, so
right.
that doesn't actually create pressure
It's
for
not
me.
going to affect you in any way. All right.
Yeah.
We will Misadventures. You are right. It's time for NARC, ladies and gentlemen. We close every single stream with this. I force every one of my guests to play this game. Lisa, before you press start, yeah, it's going to be that controller right there. Those of you guys not familiar, NARC for the Nintendo Entertainment System. I think this is 1988, if I'm remembering the year correctly. But it's a bargain bin game for the NES that I played as a child, played when I was on stream. It became a running joke, and now every single guest has to play it. Not only that, you can see the clock in the top right corner there. We're going to time our guest as they play, and they're competing against all their colleagues across various different disciplines, including against her husband. So no pressure on this one, but I'm going to give you the lore before you have to jump into this so you know what you're getting into. This is NARC. No one had the guts until now. You are Max Force. Your mission: bust Mr. Big and destroy his dreaded criminal empire. Seize all contraband, stolen money, illegal weapons, use rocket bombs, high-powered machine guns, apprehend all suspects, protect the innocent, punish the guilty, stop at nothing. So,
well, if that doesn't sound like a social worker, minus the bullets and killing people, but we stop at nothing.
You're going to be the hero here. I love this. We're going to win this.
I love this.
Go ahead and press start.
Okay.
And as soon as you hit the ground running, we are going to start with the game. And if you guys have any questions the last 30 minutes of stream, put those in chat. We are talking about foster care, foster kids aging out of the system and figuring out what those outcomes are. Lisa's happy to answer those questions while she walks right and finds doors as quickly as possible. And so holding A is bullets, tapping A is rockets, holding B is squat, tapping B is jump. And so what I recommend to everyone is practicing the jumps and the taps. And go right, tap the jumps, tap the rockets, just get used to those buttons because there's going to become very important later. And yeah, if you guys have questions, throw those in chat. I'm going to run to the restroom, but I should leave you with a question. This one, I'm sad I'm going to miss the answer to this, but what is the Earth is flat or anti-vax equivalent in your field? What's the prevailing opinion that people have as a culture that's just not accurately depicting your expertise? There's so many of them. Start with one and I'll catch the others.
Yeah. I think the real misbelief or the real disconnect is about that there's a simple solution. That we could just stop child maltreatment if we invested and we did all the right things. And it's way more complicated. We don't actually fully understand the etiology, all the causes of child maltreatment. So that would be probably what I would say is the first thing. The other thing that I think in my field is that that child welfare workers are kidnappers, state sanctioned kidnappers, and I just I couldn't disagree more. It's really hard work. And even though you can occasionally talk to people and that they believe that that there was a child that was wrongfully removed, I think that those are more of the exceptions than the rules. And so we can't walk around saying that it's the child welfare workers. So
go right.
So these are the people I have to.
Yep, the ones wearing black. I apologize.
Yeah, it's okay.
So yeah, the ones wearing black, you want to shoot with
I've killed a couple. Oh, with bullets?
Yep. Rockets will not drop something, so hold A. Yeah. Hold it. So that's tap. Hold it, and yep, go up, shoot. Yeah, there you go. So go to the right, shoot that guy. There you go.
There we go.
Nice. Through the door. All right, so I caught the second one. It was demonizing social workers.
Social workers. And the first one was that there's no simple solution to like what is causing child maltreatment. And it's not something that like if we just invested more, like it's complicated.
Yeah.
And there's no one simple solution. So those would be the two things. And then the other thing that I would also say that like maltreatment and childhood trauma is not deterministic. And yes, there is an increased likelihood of poor outcomes, and yet we know that there is plenty of resilience and the grit and the ability to overcome adversity of these young people is amazing.
Go down to the car and jump in, tap B. A little less. gentler. There you go. And stay at the bottom.
Yay!
And you're gonna hit a bomb. That's unfortunate. So it goes.
Well, that's really unfortunate.
You got a journey in the car. It's fine. We'll have another one.
So like we can't assume that the people that are in child welfare are not going to be successful contributing members of society. Yes, we do know that they are less likely than their peers without foster care experience to.
So tap B to jump. A little lighter. There you go.
Look at that.
Physics.
Love it. They're less likely to go to school, but actually what we know is that compared to their peers without foster care experience, they have more interest in going to college.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and we do know that I work with Unconquered Scholars, which is a campus-based support program.
There we go.
And we do know that young people who are involved with campus-based support programs do have better outcomes with their education. If I may brag, that the graduation rate of Unconquered Scholars, those are students who are who have experienced foster care, ward of state status, or homelessness. So it's broader than just foster care. Mm-hmm. But they're very, very similar and comparable groups, and I can go into like why they should be included. And these things are not nice.
So if you hold both buttons, you can squat and shoot them. There you go. They turn into puppies for whatever reason. So yeah, hold both down. And turn around. There you go.
Nice.
All right, now keep
Okay.
walking.
Great. And so we know that the campus-based support programming at Florida State, the Unconquered Scholars, their graduation rate is 96%.
Wow.
Do you know what our graduation rate at Florida State for the general population is?
80, something like that?
80, depending on the year, it's typically around 86.
86. Lori, cheers. NARC drink and drive. we did drunk drive a wagon earlier. Now we're gonna drunk drive a car.
You know,
So jump in that guy right there. Tap B. There you go. Tap it right there. A little gentler. Oof. It's close. Go ahead. Yeah, get on top of the car.
right there.
In the like driver's seat and then jump. You should be able to jump in. Quicker tap. There we go. Oh, press down a little. Nintendo hitboxes.
There we go.
Worse than rocks. Stay on the bottom. Go up to the white line on top. And then you're gonna run to the wall. Cheers, Lori. Thank you for joining us. Oh, wow, your car's still going. You can go to the bottom. Oh, watch out for those bombs. Oh, man. Lisa's the first person to run into that and not blow up because she slowed down enough. So keep going to the right.
I'm safety first.
Safety first. Cheers to that. Not so drunk driving.
That's right.
It's a good thing I'm not doing this.
Key lime, LaCroix. You can drink it all night and stay safe on the roads.
Unless you mix it with vodka.
Well, there's that.
But sober narc driving, Lori, cheers to that. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, if anyone has any last minute questions, we got about 20 minutes left in the stream. Also, if you guys have suggestions on people we should raid at the end of it, we're happy to do so. Yeah, put those in chat as well. All right, so we got the misconceptions. We talked about movies. We talked about experiments. One that I asked, like the quote unquote hard sciences, is I'm curious if you work with a lot of equations, and if so, do you have a favorite? Do you actually model data? Do you have to deal with anything of a fitting nature?
So when I work with equations, I'm working with statisticians, and they're in charge of the equations.
That's
So
fair.
yeah, and I don't actually I do a lot of my qualitative work.
So yeah, stand right on the car. Go ahead and tap B. A little lower. There we go. All
There
right,
we
stay
go.
on the bottom. You'll ride this out to the end of the level.
Nice. So no, I don't have a favorite equation. Although I do as an instructor that stress is a function of time and expectations. But that's not the kind of equation that you were asking for.
Not necessarily quantitative, but accurate nonetheless.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tap jump.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You see, but I mean, it applies here. I am not stressed because I have no expectations that I'm going to be good.
Yeah.
Not stressed.
No, it's a good way to go through life, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, I guess I'm plenty anxious and stressed about many things, but yeah.
I don't know. You beat Oregon Trail. There's nothing to be lost tonight. This is it's all success stories.
These are stabbing clowns.
Yeah, you remember the 80s, right?
Wow.
So you probably did Dare program too, right?
You know, I didn't, but my sisters did.
Oh, really? You were
I was just ahead of it.
Wow.
Just ahead of it.
Yeah.
Or maybe they didn't choose me.
They're like, no.
They knew I wasn't going to drink while I was like, yeah, they knew I wasn't going to drink in NARC Drive. I didn't get,
so go
what
to
do I
right.
have to,
Keep going to the right. It's just going to be the last door there. You're going to go through that.
This one?
Yep. You got to pick up a card, which is to the right.
Okay.
Watch out for Joe Rockhead. Nice, Rocket. That card right there. And you're going to press up through the door, but don't press too much up.
They're getting me.
Up. Yep. So you're going to press up through the door, but if you press up too much, you're going to come back inside the door. So you just want enough to get out, but not too much. Press up. Oh no, the hitboxes. You can rocket these guys. There you go. All right, through the door, but not too much up. There you go, left. There's the silver card. Put that guy in, and we're good. All right, out the door.
Look at me.
Another level done. All right.
Because there's no pinky.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, no, the clown's name is Kinky Pinky.
Oh my goodness.
It's come full circle.
Wow.
I did not recognize that until you just mentioned it.
That's really funny.
All right. Nuclear Demonstration wants to know, what's your biggest hope for the future of social work? Ooh, big question.
Wow. Future of social work.
Like, is there a law that could be implemented? Is there
Yeah.
You're going to go left, and you're going to shoot these Rambo-looking guys with bullets at closer range.
Which just happened.
You press start, press that guy again, and keep going left, and you're going to shoot bullets. Yep. So not the rocket, not the tap, because he'll never drop a card. You want bullets when the green guy appears. So bullets on him. So hold A. There you go. Green card. Holy crap, nice odds. That's a 1 in 5 chance, and you got a first try. So buy a lottery ticket tonight, because you've been on a roll. Put it in the, yep. This game's realistic. All right, biggest hope for future of social
biggest hope
work.
for social work. Right now in the current political environment, I hope that the profession really survives, and that sounds really dramatic.
Ooh, interesting.
But there's a lot going on with our accrediting bodies and our federal and state laws, and the profession is under attack, and so I know that sounds really drama-filled. But
is it though? Like if
No.
society collapses, social safety nets is the first thing to go,
Yep.
right? Because it's a luxury item in
Yep.
most people's consideration. I don't know. Maybe I'm cynical, but I don't think that's an off the wall claim.
So that would be my biggest hope. I would also say that I would like to see there be a significant shift to prevention. So if we can,
That door right there.
if we
Go
can
to the right.
do more work with interprofessional groups, and we can solve these complex problems together, I think that's really my biggest hope, that if we can make things better before we need to do interventions and help children, families, and communities in crisis.
See, you want to treat the cause rather
Yep.
than the symptoms.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yep.
Huh. I mean, so if you had to do that, where would you start? Like unlimited budget question, how would you intervene? You have that red card already. You can touch that, and you're in.
Awesome.
I mean, so if you could magically implement anything, how would you get ahead of that? I mean, having childcare for everyone, probably a good start.
Yeah, universal allowance for families. I would make sure that basic human needs are met. I'm gonna start sounding. I'm gonna sound.
Got that card.
Oh, I do. So
Yep,
I
you
get
got
to use
blue.
these cards multiple times.
Exactly.
This is amazing.
Yeah, no, the storytelling here is phenomenal.
I can see why you like the game.
Exactly. That's
So I would make sure that there was more wealth equity, that more people had access to assets, that that we can. I mean, I don't know why we need to have billionaires have billions of dollars and pay less taxes than our middle class and working class families. So yeah, so I'd like an overhaul of society. I think that's what's kind of needed right now.
I think that's a general sentiment.
Yeah.
I mean, if people actually understood the income inequality, like when you ask people to ask, how much of the wealth does the top 1% own? They're like,
Right.
It's a tiny fraction, when the answer is it's like half.
Right.
And people don't even understand.
Right.
I agree with the sentiment that billionaires do not need to exist.
Right.
And a lot of things would be solved if that was the case. But then you get labeled a socialist or a communist or whatever label they want to portray.
Yeah.
But now you get to take out any frustration you have on Mr. Big.
Do I have
He's
a
the
gold
cause.
card?
No, you do not. You have to shoot the guy in the wheelchair with a rocket.
Well, that does not feel very social.
Don't worry, he's a drug dealer. He is the drug lord of this particular game,
Yeah,
and
but
so you have to shoot Mr. Big. And so tap rockets. You don't have to jump in this one, you just have to shoot him. So yeah, I would go to the center of the screen and just tap the hell out of A until, there you go. So that's one. You gotta hit him twice more. He's got two more wheelchairs you have to destroy.
Well, that feels wrong.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, every 2 weeks I have to say you have to shoot the guy in the wheelchair with a rocket. So,
yeah, when you were a 6-year-old, did you ever think that was going to be like part of your...
See, what's funny is I probably was playing this when I was 6, so it wasn't unheard of.
Okay.
So kill the guys on screen and then wheelchair guy will come back. I think Lori talking about the money and how much rich people are. I think once you hit 100 million or so, pick an amount. Anything above that goes to something else important, which is how it used to be. I mean, the top bracket was taxed at like 90% prior to World War II. Well, prior to Reagan. And then when Reagan took over, that completely changed. And so medical care for newborns to 18 and 65 till death. Yes, adults can figure out between those ages. I mean, if you're going to cover it, you might as well cover it all. It turns out it works in other countries, would be my argument, but so it goes. But yeah. No, I agree. There's this certain threshold of wealth, and there used to be like philanthropic efforts, and like Bill Gates does that, but it's not mandatory.
Well,
right?
but here's the problem. Like, and I do not want to disparage the great work that many wealthy people are doing. But if people had money and we were investing and like we had a tax base that was making sure that schools were giving great education to people, we wouldn't need people like LeBron James to put together a school. And so like if LeBron James was paying more taxes, we wouldn't need his school.
We wouldn't need to rely on his goodwill.
Right.
Because it would be built in.
Right, because it would be built in.
Yeah. Nuclear says the same thing. The system shouldn't lead to that in the first place.
Right.
And I don't know if you've ever heard of this phrase. It's a subreddit. It's called the orphan crushing machine.
No.
And it's basically like it's a satirical joke on the, hey, uplifting news story, we turned off the orphan crushing machine. And the question you should be asking is, why does the orphan crushing machine exist? And so these like news stories about, a kid fundraised for his friend who has leukemia by selling lemonade. That's fucked up, and it's not heartwarming.
No, it's not.
And that's called the orphan crushing machine.
Okay.
And so that's the analogy people use. So pick up the gold card.
Why
hit
can't
boxes.
I pick it up?
It's the Oregon Trail. So walk over it with your feet. So go to the right and walk over it.
There we go.
Because this is Nintendo and that's how it works.
I love it.
But yeah, I like that orphan crushing machine analogy because it really makes it poignant. It says there are reasons that this exists, and those are the problem, and not solving that is problematic.
Right.
All right, we're on to Mr. Big, top of the screen, and you're going to do a jump rocket. So it's tapping jump. And then whoa, that was pretty close right off the bat. That was
not beginner's
run
luck.
run right, get away from him, turn around, do it over again. As soon as you get that in the hat, you are well on your way to beating this. If you guys have any questions, we're in the last 10 minutes of the stream, depending on how long it takes Lisa to beat Mr. Big. We're going to win the war on drugs. But if you have questions, ooh, that was pretty close. So run away, do it again. I mean, speaking on drugs, so we've had this war on drugs in the United States, and it's been a systemic problem,
right.
Particularly, it's minority, it's been oppressing, whether it's Latino or Black populations. I mean, how does that play into this foster care system?
So we saw this with the crack cocaine, and that we saw a lot of children were removed from parents. Because of incarceration. We also see that, and I think it's an interesting experiment, and we don't understand fully what's going on, but we have substance misuse as a reason that children are removed from their parents' care.
And in some states that can be as simple as marijuana possession, right?
But we also have states that are legalizing marijuana.
Yeah.
So like it's or decriminalizing. So we do see that it's something, but I also think that it is one of these tough on crime things is not always is great for families. So the war on drugs, when we teach policy classes, we often are really looking at, like, historically, like, what are policies that have impacted children and families? And the war on drug is definitely one of them.
And so that's presumably somebody has quantified that by a certain percentage. I won't ask you to quote that, but it's a non-trivial amount.
Yep.
And I guess that depends on where.
And you can actually, like, it's Googleable. If you look at the influx of children in foster care during the crack cocaine, when crack cocaine was really introduced.
And so are we seeing a resurgence with that, with fentanyl and the uptick in that?
We've seen it with meth.
Interesting.
But we actually are. So this is the other thing. So one of my favorite scholars is in New Hampshire, and his name is
pretty close.
David Finkelhor, and he is just an amazing human being. As well as a scholar, and what he's saying is, like, we can't keep saying, like, everything's going to hell and everything's horrible, because there's a lot of evidence that there's some really great things that are going on.
That one was very
close.
Yeah, that was very close. You got the jump in. It might have been he was too close to you, unfortunately.
Okay.
So
I'm keep going.
No, you got this. We got plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
No, we beat Oregon Trail. How hard
how hard could this be?
I'm gonna give Mr. Big dysentery. It's fine. That was another close one.
Okay, so I need to run away and get him.
Yep. So run to the right. Yeah, you're on the edge of the left. Get some distance. All right, sorry, I forgot where we were. We were talking about fentanyl and
David Finkelhor. So one of the things he's saying is just, like, we have to look at some outcomes.
Go to the right.
And so these outcomes, like, we are seeing improvements. We have fewer children entering foster care now than we did in the 80s. And
turn around and do it again. So what is that attributed to?
One, we're doing more prevention efforts, that we're doing more trying to keep children and families together, and we're trying to serve them better, that maybe some of our interventions about child maltreatment are working, and so we are preventing it. So, like, it's not all bad. I mean, I am doing poorly here. Let me be very clear.
But you're not a child.
I am not. Yeah, society is not all bad. Like,
you're an adult. Deal with
it. That's right. Yes.
Your problems are already written in stone. This is making it worse. Mr. Big, you can understand why this is the rate limiting step in this game. This is the make or break. But you've had a couple really close tries at it. So I think you have it there. It's just putting it together at the right moment will make it happen. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, last minutes with Lisa Schelbe. She's an expert in foster care, social work, and how it relates to students aging out of the out of the foster care system. She's happy to answer those questions while she wins the war on drugs and beats Mr. Big.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's also really alarming that he's throwing his tongues or mouthpieces.
That is his tongue.
Yeah.
Again, you remember the 80s. This is what it was like.
I do.
And I love the fact I completely forgot that the clown's name was Kinky Pinky.
That makes it really that.
Of the games you played tonight, 50% of them have something named Pinky, which is pretty astounding. Clowns with knives.
That was kind of scary. Not that I have a fear.
Grind. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you wanted to be asked? We had a list of
I
things.
feel like we're pretty good.
I mean, are there any factoids you want to share that we didn't get into? You can do the last minute.
Let me talk about the cost effectiveness. So
That's fun.
yeah, so it is. I told you how many, like $300,000 per young person as they're leaving care. But what's amazing is that there's been several cost-benefit analysis of looking at the investments. And when we invest $1, we're seeing a range of between $1.50 and up to $8 or $11. I mean, most people are much more comfortable with the $2 to $6.50 for every dollar that we invest in young people. And so this is another thing. It's like, while I've said that, like, there's no one simple solution, and money isn't always going to solve all the problems here. I'm so close. Investing in young people aging out, and universities investing in campus-based support programs, like it's making a difference in young people's lives.
I mean, and that's one of those, it's just a frustration because you see this in so many domains where it's like, well, you're just giving people free stuff, and so it's making society worse, but none of the research supports that.
No, it doesn't.
And there's examples of this where, like, if you take homeless people and you put them in a hotel and you feed them alcohol, it's more cost effective than them being on the street. And people have done this math.
I know.
Like, it's counterintuitive, but it's better for everyone, and yet there's like this vindictiveness in decision making that's not effective. And so how do you change that mentality? How do you, like, the data doesn't convince people of anything.
Right.
They're just like, oh, I'd like to sit around all day and drink.
Well,
but you don't.
You're right. That they.
Oh, that was so close. A little earlier on the rocket, and that would have been it. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not sure I'm going to get this.
All right, you want to do one more pass?
Sure, I'll do one more pass, and then you'll phone a friend.
All right. Ooh, that was pretty close. Walk away. Try it again. Yeah, you got some distance. You can go that way. Get some room.
Okay.
Got a few more attempts. Under pressure, in front of the
audience. I got
audience.
this. In front of the obvious.
You have the feel. It's just getting it once. And some people get it accidentally right away. Well, that was a pretty good one, too. But just a little lighter on the rocket button, and that would have been it.
Okay.
And cost effectiveness.
Yeah.
I love those analyses because they're always counterintuitive. And the problem is most of, like, our society makes decisions on a quarterly basis because we're capitalistic. Oh, there it is. All right, rockets to the face. Yes, you got the hat. Now rockets to the face.
Okay.
So you'll get a little bit away. You don't have to jump anymore. So just tap A, shoot him in the face with a rocket. Oop. A little gentler on the rocket.
Okay.
Pressing a little too hard. But you are there. You shoot him. All right, turn around, tap A, gentle. There we go. Okay, now you're gonna run away this way. You're in phase 3 of the fight, but don't worry, it's downhill from here. So get between these two black lines here. So go down, keep going right, and you're gonna turn around and shoot bullets. So just hold A and just move up and down a little bit. And you're gonna shoot some of the vertebrae out. So run away. Do that again. So he's going to come towards you. Shoot him as you're away. Actual Education. Thank you for the raid. Thank you for joining us. Crazy, we're closing out. People joined at a very important moment. We're closing out the evening with NARC. Oh, man. Actual Education, thank you for joining us. We are just at the tail end of winning the war on drugs. Anyone that's not familiar with Actual Education, you should check them out. They do physics and math tutoring on Twitch. Joining us for the last minutes of stream, Actual Education, as you know, we close with NARC. So you're going to do bullets, and you're going to want to move down this way. So hold the A button, hold it. Yep, that one. Yep, so run away, shoot bullets. Anyone just joining us, we are Ask a Scientist Gaming, mediocre gameplay, expert science. Our guest tonight is Lisa Schelbe. She's an expert. She's in the College of Social Work at Florida State University. Her expertise is primarily in foster care system and foster care and child maltreatment and things like that, but also the transition from foster care to college or the real world as it is. You got another vertebrae, so walk away, turn around, you're gonna keep doing that. Closing out the war on drugs on which side? I don't know. We all win with this particular game. So Lisa's playing this. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, Actual Education, I hope your stream went well. I hope you had a good night.
Did I do something?
No, we got followers actually. So Ivan Neo, thank you for the follow. OG Smirnoff. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, thank you as well. It all costs money. Thank you for joining us. We've had quite the journey tonight. We are talking about foster care and child maltreatment while drinking alcohol and playing video games, which sounds like a weird combination, but I think it's been a pretty spectacular night. It's been a lot of fun. We've covered a lot of subject matter. Man, we learned a lot. I mean, in terms of just the foster care system. We just talked about return on investment. You said it was something like 5 to 1 is a reasonable range.
Yep, anywhere between 1.5 to 8 to 1, with a lot of us being like comfortable around 6 to 1.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. What other astounding things did I learn tonight? Talked about movies, which was kind of interesting. Good Will Hunting captured it pretty well. Precious was the one you recommended as being most accurate. There we go. We beat Mr. Big Go Right, Find a Door. Man,
Antoine Fisher. But I also challenge you to look through all of these different.
Matilda. Tragedy. It's not an enjoyable kids movie.
It's not
a tragedy in terms of childcare and the foster care system. Go right. Civil forfeiture, the level. So you get to steal gold from the drug dealers without due process.
Nice.
Sorry, closing it out. I've been saying for years that people should adopt or foster instead of breeding. What's your stance on that?
So, well, I don't have any biological children, and I invest in other people's children and in my students, and so that's a choice that I've made. I do have 2 stepchildren, and so I've invested in them as well. But I think that there are many ways to have a legacy. And to make an impact, and you don't have to have your own kids. You can make a difference in the world.
And I think we talked about it earlier. Sorry, I closed your book. I should put that link up there again.
Some type of way.
There it is, some type of way. And you said the last chapter was things you can do, not necessarily adopting kids or fostering kids, but there are very simple things you can do to help out foster kids. Something as simple as buying suitcases or things that could, stuffed animals, dropping them off at a hockey game would help out kids. So yeah, that book has a bunch of stuff. There it is on Amazon. This stream brought to you by Amazon. Literally, because Twitch is owned by Amazon. But go ahead and click end with the mutant finger of NARC.
I was the highest score.
You are the highest score.
That's of all time.
Oh yeah, exactly. As soon as I close it, it'll still stay.
Thank you.
But thank you all for joining us. It is time to close out the night. We stream every other Wednesday night between 8 and 11 p.m. So thank you, Actual Education. It's always a pleasure, your fellow Wednesday night streamer, for bringing people over. Hopefully you guys got something out of it. Check out our YouTube channel. Those links will pop up on the stream, but you can check out the whole video with Lisa. We've had a really fun time talking tonight, drinking some key lime LaCroix. Maybe I add a little vodka to mine. It's been a good time, but thank you FFL for the follow. Thank you again for the last minute. Thanks for the follows. You guys will get notifications every 2 weeks when we stream. Various guests across all expertise. But Lisa, it has been an awesome time.
Thank you. I've had a great time.
Any parting words for the audience?
No, I think, I guess that I just would encourage people to do something, like whatever it is that you can do in your corner of the world to help others, to use your gifts and talents and resources and make a commitment, whatever you're able to do.
So how do you feel about like the Big Brothers Big Sisters programs?
Love those.
Those are
Yep.
acceptable. Those are great.
Yep.
People should invest in those. Lori, that's a good option if you can't
Yep.
fully foster a kid. There are kids that need mentorship and advice. I mean, simple things. I mean, we see this in college kids all the time. First generation college students, they don't know the rules.
Yep.
They don't know how to register for classes. They don't know there's a sequence of classes. A simple conversation can change somebody's life just by outlining a 4-year plan.
Yep.
Which is profound. So
Yeah.
Lori did that in Tallahassee for a bit. She did Big Brothers Big Sisters,
Awesome.
which is pretty cool.
Awesome.
So yeah, thank you all for joining us again. Ask a Scientist Gaming, Actual Education Raiders. You guys are catching the last tail end of us. If you have suggestions on other people we should raid, put those in chat right now. But yeah, we're gonna wrap up. It's 11 o'clock. It's late. It's Wednesday night. Do you teach tomorrow?
Nope.
Okay.
Not even teaching this semester.
Oh, that is amazing.
But I have a 7:30 morning meeting. But it's all good.
I mean, that's fine. It'll come quick. But
Totally
we do know we won Oregon Trail, one of the
Yes.
2 runs. We survived. We forged the river and survived that journey. You won the war on drugs. You got to level 4 in Pac-Man and almost broke 10,000.
I mean,
so it's a good night.
it's a great night.
It's overall successful. So thank you all for joining us. Check us out in 2 weeks. Our guest, that should not say October 8th. That should say what's 2 weeks from now. October 22nd. Sorry for the typo there. Taila, I don't know how to say her last name. What's your guess there? Newell? It's right here. You can see Nugiel. Tahila Newell. She's in neurosciences and psychology department. So she does cognitive neuroscience. She's looking at brain function in children, particularly focusing on ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And she does functional MRI. So real-time MRI to monitor children and like brain development and how that functions and things like that. So related to the conversations we've had tonight. So check us out. She's a neuroscience scientist. She'll be here again 2 weeks from now. That'll be October 22nd. Sorry for the typo there. But everyone, thank you for joining us. The questions have been awesome. The discussion has been a whole lot of fun. We're going to figure out someone to raid, but until then, it's been a pleasure. Thank you all, and hopefully we'll see you in 2 weeks.